Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. We got a lot to get to today, guys.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We've got Mike, Anthony, Earl, Steve, all here today. We've got a new quarterback on the Browns. We've got a quarterback that has left the Browns. We have a new swing offensive lineman that fans are going to convince themselves into being a left tackle.
Yep, it's coming.
We'll find the right PFF stats to prove it.
Oh yeah. All these guys got hot upside. I'm waiting for somebody to have to walk these comments back on this quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Because
there's already a percentage of the fan base talking themselves into Kenny Pickett being the next Sam Darnold.
I know that's not happening.
Aditi texted me yesterday that he could be the next Sam Darnold.
What?
She loves him. She loves Kenny Pickett.
When I watch
She's all in on
He has small hands.
So does Donald Trump, but he's president.
100.
If you can be president, you can be
The
quarterback.
two-glove swag is back.
175,000 views on that. She said, "Oh yeah, I told you." Listen, she's going to be on fire all year.
This is unbelievable that the Browns is making these Minimoski and people go sell. They're going to con themselves.
100%.
Oh, this is the difference.
That's what every fan base
This
does.
is the difference.
Because Ian Rappaport, that good Nick Ian Rappaport, gets on Twitter and goes, "Oh man, a big addition on the offense." Because they got to overhype everything. He's coming to Berea. Mike Garafolo. Oh, some Joe Schmo is going to East Rutherford, New Jersey. Every year the Giants sign 10 free agents. You got dopes like Mike who convince themselves that the team is going to be good and they're going to suck every year.
Wilbon was on PTI saying they got 5 new blue chip offensive linemen for Caleb. I said, bro, 5?
They ain't got. It's 3, but yes.
That's what I'm saying.
If they were blue chip, they would not be free agents.
Wait a minute, McNuggets, you con yourself every
I'm
year
just busting Mike's
that the Giants is going to be good?
balls. But everybody, fans con themselves. It's not just our fan base. Every fan base cons themselves into these, yesterday the Bengals signed this random defensive lineman from the Packers. I never heard of this friggin' guy. He only plays on first down. He's a big fat dude, which good. I love a big fat dude.
You ain't one of those.
And then I got Bengals beat reporters saying, "Oh, the Bengals are making the run stopping a priority." Why? Because they sent some random dude from the Packers. That means it's a priority. What are you talking about?
Have you ever heard somebody say, "This is a mid signing"? On the first day of signing, have you ever said, "I don't understand why they signed"? Everything is they've sewn up all of the holes.
That's right. And meanwhile, after this year, half these guys are going to be cut.
I'm sure it was some mid signings yesterday.
We found out.
They're all mid signing.
And guess what? We found out Dalvin Tomlinson 2 years later was a mid signing.
Yeah.
And we named that our signing of the offseason.
That's right.
Well, wait, hold on. We not about to. We ain't about to do. Dalvin did his thing when it came to stopping the run.
We had him.
Listen, wait a minute. Hold on. When we signed Dalvin, do you know the season we came off of before we had Dalvin?
He was fine, but he was so good they said, you're not that good. Let's move on.
If you take the Cardinals game away from Dalvin Tomlinson,
yeah, right.
Oh my goodness.
You take that Dalvin Tomlinson game
what
away.
Dalvin did don't show up on the stat sheet.
He's fine, but they paid him a lot of money.
They paid him a lot.
We'll get to all this. One quick sidebar here. By the way, I got to bring this up. It's just nothing to do with anything, but what is with people that have like 1,000 bumper stickers in their car? Are these people all crazy? And it has nothing to do with politics. I saw this car driving in. I didn't even know what the bumper sticker said. I don't even know if any of them were political. So there's nothing to do with politics. But I don't understand people that have like 1,000. Don't you want your car to look nice?
Let me ask you.
You got 1,000 bumper stickers on you. Who's doing
Let
this?
me ask you, if
Aaron
Aaron gets on a roll and gets the sticker, would you put it on the back of your car?
No.
No.
Why?
First of all,
y'all is messed up.
First of all,
he worked hard.
I love my son, and he works hard. He ain't getting honor roll. He's a perfectly okay student. He's not getting honor roll.
Honor roll is just not.
I keep it real.
He's not doing that.
My son is extremely smart and talented. He's an entertainer.
He's more of a.
But in terms of
he's really eccentric.
Schoolwork, it can be a struggle for him at times.
That ain't it.
So he can be I'm not. My son would be embarrassed. My son would be embarrassed if I had a bumper sticker on my car saying, like, if you have a bumper sticker that your son made honor roll, you're a tool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait, this just it. Boy hates the kids. That's what it tells you. He hates the kids.
Because the bumper stickers and stuff tells you it tells you what groups you want to be in, right? Everybody wants to be in a group. Everybody wants to belong to something. So it's your outward expression of saying, hey, I graduated from OSU. I got the license plates.
Yeah.
My kid is at Country Day School. Look at this. Like, he's cool, and I pay for him to go to school. Yeah. Like, they got all the stickers.
It's like
hey, I listen, the only ones I respect is if you served in any sort of military.
Yeah, that's acceptable.
You get to have all the tassels, all of the medals. You can have your whole bumper back on the, whole joint be a decal of the branch you served in.
If you're a vet, you do whatever the hell you want.
So
I got no criticism.
I
agree.
It tells you about who you are and what you believe in, just like your car does.
And I'm okay with like one or two bumper stickers.
But when
the whole back of the car is covered with bumper, what are we doing?
Nobody's really doing
I
it.
saw this car driving in. That's what made me think it had like 40 bumper stickers on it.
And they're low-key hoarders,
First of all,
too.
the bumper ain't big enough to hold 40 stickers.
If you go to their car...
What was that?
The bumper ain't big enough to hold.
Well, but it's on the whole back door of the car.
Well, maybe that's their thing.
Well, they're weird.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not what you agree with.
Now watch this.
I'm weird too. We're all weird in our own
Everybody
ways.
got their own thing. Listen,
true.
they want to.
That's true, Travis. That's a good attitude.
If they
You're
want
right.
to tat the back
You're
of their
right.
thing, hey.
I mean, you're weird also.
Yeah,
Not
very
weird.
true.
We're all weird.
I might be. I just had this conversation with somebody. I
Yeah.
might possibly be the most normal, sane person in this world.
That could not be further from the truth.
I think that might be the truth.
That is not the truth.
I think I'm very.
You have an unhealthy view of vacation.
He's
How is it unhealthy?
It's unhealthy.
All right, let me explain this.
The weekends ain't enough for you?
No. I'll just listen. I'll just say this. Tyvus is the guy, and everybody can agree with this. He's the dude that every white person says when they don't. I'm not racist. I got a black friend. It's Tyvus. He comes over and everything. He eats dinner. Me and his wife, our kids play together. Like, he's right down the middle of the road. Like, he doesn't even. And Tyvus, you be Tyvus, you'd be like, you wouldn't even know he played nothing. He don't even play music.
I'm not the token black guy, okay?
Bro, you are very non-threatening. You could go in any situation. You got your beard is too perfect.
Yeah,
it's crazy,
that's
bro.
True. Speaking of which, I saw this clip because you know how like Scream 7 is coming out.
Yes, Doofy's coming back. He's alive again.
I don't know.
But
I don't
he's
think
alive.
I've seen any of those movies. Maybe the first
never
one. I saw the first one, but I don't think I've seen.
I seen the last one that came out.
But
6.
Because for some reason
He
they
died-
were showing
he
some
died
clips.
in that one, too.
You know that like a parody movie of
Scary movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I hadn't
The
seen
best
this,
ones.
but they showed that clip where this, it's teenagers, and the one black teenager taps another black teenager on the shoulder and goes, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm supposed to be the only black guy here." And the other guy's like, "You're right, my bad."
Oh no, you're talking about
That's something different.
that was not another teenage movie.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
He went. They was at the party together, and he said, "What are you doing?" "I'm supposed to be the only black guy." He said, "Oh, you know what? My bad," and he left the party.
I was dying.
That's not another
I
teen
had not
movie.
seen that before. All right, we got tons to get to. Do we have a guest today?
We have Charles Davis coming
Charles
up at
Davis.
noon.
That's
Charles
right.
Davis
I knew we had a guest.
from CBS calls games with Ian Eagle. One of the
he's
best
great.
booths in football. The voice of Madden, which when G asked him about last time he was on,
that's
that
true.
clip kind of went viral. So we gotta
Yeah.
maybe do a little follow up. But
Boy,
we got a bunch
Charles
of stuff to
hit
get
his
to,
head like 10
and we are
times.
going to start with a read from FanDuel. Guys, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when their first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even betting on who's going to cut down the nets when it's all said and done. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Guys, we start with the trade the Browns made yesterday, acquiring Kenny Pickett from the Philadelphia Eagles for DTR and a 5th-round pick. I found a graphic from the interweb showing that this could be a steal for the Cleveland Browns. Bull, I want you to look very closely at these stats. Please take Jaguar full here. And you look at Kenny Pickett's career win percentage compared to Joe Burrow's. He has a higher win percentage than Joe Burrow. He's thrown fewer interceptions in his career than Joe Burrow. He's lost despite having tiny hands, like minuscule, fake tiny hands, has lost 437% fewer fumbles than Joe Burrow in his career. He's taken 1/4 as many sacks, and he's won a Super Bowl ring. So maybe they could have found someone better than Joe Burrow.
I think there's a lot of truth to this. I think this is entirely possible.
Boy,
there's a lot of truth there.
This is I love that you got those stats because you're quickly learning how delusional we are.
Yes.
Man, we will pivot on a smooth dime.
Yeah.
We have on this show multiple times in preparation of playing said Kenny Pickett talked about his hand size, talked about how he's placebo, talked about how he's Minimowski, mid-sauce, whatever you want to say, and how he does not scare you at all. We've talked about how the fact that he's been outdueled by DTR and PJ Walker before.
Whoa. His name is Phillip.
Oh, Phillip, there you go. Phillip Banks. He's on the roster and slowly but surely, watch this. But listen, Kenny Pickett though, first round.
What's that?
Steelers.
What's that? What's the stat? Didn't he got like the most fourth quarter comeback wins or something? What did he have?
I'll look up that stat.
He had a bunch ridiculous. Had nothing to do with him.
I'll look it up. That graphic was from Dollar Dog Nick on Twitter, so shout out to Dollar Dog Nick. In reality, though, we'll talk about the trade, but I do want to play this clip from Adam Schefter, who had a little more insight on the Kenny Pickett trade yesterday. This is from ESPN yesterday. Then we'll dive into the real conversation about the Browns acquiring Kenny Pickett. Steve, let's hear it.
I don't think it impacts them at number 2. I think that they trade for Kenny Pickett because they like Kenny Pickett. I still wouldn't be surprised if they added another quarterback via free agency, whether that's Joe Flacco, whether that's waiting it out on Kirk Cousins, who Atlanta won't let out right now, but nobody believes he's going to play there again. There are some options out there, and we'll see which one finds his way to Cleveland. But I think that the Browns recognized a quarterback who was a former first-round draft pick that they figured it was worth taking a flyer on. Why not? He was a former first-round draft pick. He's costing you a 5th-round draft pick and one of your backup quarterbacks. Take the chance. If he turns into the type of player that many people thought he could be, then you hit. If not, then you have another backup quarterback. It's not the worst gamble in the world.
Yeah. All right, guys, do you agree with Schefter? And then big picture, will this prohibit them from potentially getting another veteran quarterback before the draft?
I mean, the fact that they were even talking about number 2 as if this might be a factor is beyond laughable. Of course it's not a factor in number 2.
Not at all.
And it's most likely not a factor in getting another veteran. I'm fine with the trade, guys, because I think Kenny Pickett, in terms of depth, is probably better than DTR. Not probably. I mean, he's better than DTR. He's a serviceable backup quarterback in the league. So I'm fine with it because you gave up a 5th-round pick that was a late 5th-round pick. Who cares? And a quarterback that we already know couldn't play. But I have no interest in Kenny Pickett being any kind of starter for the Browns as more than, guys are hurt, so we got to play him.
Now, Tyvus, you hate this move. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That was good, G. I like that.
I never said I hated the move. That's not what I said. What I said was I understood what it was about. I mean, listen, the Browns, They literally came out and said that they wanted to be more competitive in that room. I forget who was I listening to that said that last year the way they went about free agency was about to support Deshaun, making sure we get quarterbacks that can support Deshaun. Well, this year is like it's all about competition, bringing in the best guys that's going to compete for the start job. Think about it. If you got Kenny Pickett, you add a veteran, and you draft a rookie.
Yeah.
You got 3 guys that's all in their mind like, oh, I'm going to beat that guy
Good.
out. So now the competition is going
Yeah.
to be higher, and whoever wins it out, you know that they beat 2 other decent guys. And with DTR, you seen what DTR was. You seen that he wasn't the guy that you could move forward with. You know, a couple of years ago when you decided to trade Josh Dobbs and make him your number 2 quarterback, you know, you thought you had high expectations for him. Well, I said at the end of that season that when they started to start DTR, it was an evaluation process. They wanted to see, like, can this guy help us in the future?
Right.
And they ultimately walked away and said this guy wasn't good enough. And that's why they was like, all right, if you're going to give us a former first-round pick, we'll take that because, no denying, he's a first-round talent. He was graded out as a first-round talent. Kenny Pickett I'm talking about. Somebody took him in the first round. So, therefore, the talent is there. So maybe they think to themselves, maybe we get him with the right coaching staff, right quarterback coach, maybe we can get that out of him. But at the end of the day, he still has to compete with whatever other 2 guys that they get. And they just wanted to make the quarterback room better, and that's what that did.
Here's what it is.
That's what it is.
I'm about to just get to this.
I got you, bro.
They rolled back all that extra stuff. They went into the meetings and was like, look, man, we ain't going to be winning that many games this year, bull. We're going to win 4, 5, 6, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
We need to revamp the image of what this room is. I don't want nobody on Instagram.
That's it.
I don't want nobody talking about nothing and what the playbook look like. I don't want nobody even remotely like we gonna be as vanilla as possible. We gonna be Kevin Stefanski run his play action when you get up in front. Even Jameis Winston, we love you, Jameis. You threw a lot of interceptions, but you was fun. They don't want no fun back there. They want, hey, play action, learn this playbook, and watch. They gonna double down and get you. Now I don't got a problem with it. Hey, look, Kevin Stefanski was like, look, man, I got 1 year to do it. I need all of these things, these fires put out.
We think he got 1 year to do it. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, but I think it's shaping up. It might be one in the possible. I'm just telling y'all about for the tea leaves. I might be wrong.
It do look like one in the possible.
One in the possible. I'm just saying. But listen, this will make sense because when they go out, and we talked about it, Zach Jackson says that we are going to have Kirk Cousins possibly as another Browns quarterback by this weekend. You combine those 2 moves together, you sandwich Kenny Pickett with Kirk Cousins, that room is now completely, when they say adults in the room, remember, that's what got Baker up out of here.
Yeah.
They want adults. They don't want no extra stuff. And then we going to get you, they still going to grab a rookie quarterback. They'll slice him and put him right in the middle.
Does Shedeur Sanders fit that room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because besides Shedeur,
got to keep it diversified.
Besides his little flashy wrist joint, he's really vanilla. He's a vanilla player. He's not a flashy player.
I just wanted to be desegregated.
Yeah. That's now
his game is
very
vanilla.
It's very, and I'm not. And this is not a double entendre here, people. I'm not saying vanilla. Just that would be crazy if I was thinking that. But but no, like his game fits right into what they trying to do. What Stefanski has shown you, I'm with structure. He won a Super Bowl. I'm going to go get Kirk Cousins. He's old. I've worked with him before. They'll pick up the offense. And look, you don't like that move either. You went from, go ahead.
You mentioned Zach Jackson was on with Ken and Lima this morning, and he mentioned that he thinks Kirk Cousins will be here by the weekend. Zach doesn't just throw out stuff like that very often.
I hope
so
he is in this
the fact
case.
that he said that makes me think that's going to happen. Obviously, the Falcons got to figure out, is it going to be a trade or are they cutting him? Probably they're going to have to cut him, and it may just take a few more days. In terms of, there was something you mentioned there that I think was dead on. I was actually going to ask you guys about it. I think the Browns need to cut all ties with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. And anybody that was in that locker room last year with Deshaun Watson in terms of quarterback had to be gone. That's what I think this was about. Do I think the Browns really believe that Kenny Pickett could be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Maybe there's a 1% chance they think that. Mm-hmm. I mean, if the Philadelphia Eagles gave him away for nothing, they're the smartest organization in football.
I mean, they got a 5th back for him in a way. They got DTR end of 5th.
Yeah, but they just What's more important to a team like the Eagles that's trying to win a Super Bowl? Having the best backup quarterback you can have, or a fifth-round pick?
String.
Well, okay. First of all, he was second string last year.
No, McKee was.
No, he wasn't. He became the second string eventually.
Yeah, he did.
Because they decided he was better than Kenny
Didn't
Pickett.
he play in
That's
the
what I'm saying.
playoffs?
Yeah, so Pickett was their third.
Wasn't it a
Pickett?
playoff game or something he played?
Who, McKee?
No, Pickett.
Yeah, Pickett played at the end of the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, he took the final knee.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason they moved on is because they're comfortable with McKee, who never really played, being their backup. That tells you what they really think of Kenny Pickett.
Oh, we're saying the same thing, just in different ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're saying the same thing.
I'm saying if they think a guy who's never played in Tanner McKee could be a better backup. Again, this is not a bad team. This team just won the Super Bowl. If I get it, if Jalen Hurts gets hurt for the season, they're done. But if Jalen Hurts gets hurt for a month, they said they'd rather go with Tanner McKee than Kenny Pickett. That tells you what they think about him. Doesn't mean they're always right, but they've been right more than most teams. And so Kenny Pickett is a lottery ticket, and that's it. But part of this was just changing the guys in that locker room and getting rid of the connections to because Deshaun Watson's never going to be in the Browns locker room again. That's it.
Do you don't think that it comes off as the Eagles making the same mistake that the Browns made?
No, because they get the benefit of the doubt.
No,
they win.
but I'm saying like we traded Josh Dobbs for DTR. They traded Kenny Pickett for Tanner McKee.
Well, two things here. Number one, their starting quarterback has been good.
That's fine.
You know, the Browns
I'm
situation.
talking about the number 2 quarterback.
I know that,
You're going
but
with the less experienced guy.
Ultimately, no team is winning a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee.
That's a fact.
Or Josh Dobbs or
that's
DTR.
a fact. But you can still keep. Yeah, if Jalen Hurts ever got hurt and you had to go 4 or 5 weeks with.
Right, but Tanner McKee's been with them for a year, unlike DTR, who was new to the Browns.
No, I'm talking about Kenny Pickett in this.
Right, but they may have seen enough internally on McKee that they're like he's better than Kenny Pickett.
That's how we felt about DTR.
Right, but DTR hadn't been there for a year with the Browns at the time.
But we missing this about the Eagles. The Eagles front office is like, oh no, we do this.
Didn't they come from the Eagles?
He was not in charge.
He was not. No, you're 100% right.
He was in the office.
He wasn't in charge.
He was not in charge, but he was in the office.
So here's the thing. The Eagles evaluated talent and says, listen, we do this for a living. We drafted Carson Wentz. He got hurt. We had Foles. We still won. Listen, even when they had think about it, even when they got their coach and Doug Peterson when they won the Super Bowl, they're like, oh, no, we don't feel like you're good enough. We're going to get you up out of here, too.
Well, he had some bad seasons.
So then they ran it back. So they get Jalen Hurts. Nobody thought Jalen Hurts was going to be anybody. They said, no, we like you, and we're going to start you. Now, look, they've shown a track record of being correct. We've shown a track record of not even getting first-round picks correct. So, no, I don't trust them in what they're saying.
I don't think
who was our last first-round pick? Was it G-New?
Yes.
G-New.
Yes. Yeah, it's decent. It's a decent pick.
Medium sauce.
But it could have been worse.
It's like saying somebody was like, "Yo, you want to go out for wings?" And they like, "Where you want to go?" BW's.
Yeah.
I said, BW3's wings. That was sold 1997. The boys is medium at best.
Listen, it's.
Look, right.
It's what it was. Yeah, not a bad pick.
It's just G-New.
Before we move on to the next topic, all in agreement that just because they signed Kenny Pickett does not mean they will not sign someone else. Zach Jackson, like we mentioned earlier,
yes.
the Kirk Cousins stuff.
I think we all agree this is a non-factor in what else they're going to do at quarterback. Correct?
No,
it's a non-factor.
It's all about competition.
And that's fine. Yeah. If they want to let him compete, I never have a problem with competition.
And by the way, I mean, this is just me throwing it out speculation-wise. There was some things back in the day when Myles Garrett said they didn't like the way there was a double standard for him and Deshaun Watson and some of the players.
Right.
They didn't like some of the ways that Kevin Stefanski handled him with certain kid gloves. I wouldn't be surprised if they said, look, one of the questions was, hey, is Deshaun going to be back next year or what are we doing next year? Because I need to figure that out. So I think Bull was right. I think they're putting that in cold water right now so we can just keep it pushing.
I mean, Jerry Jeudy said, was it yesterday in that podcast?
That he didn't expect Myles to come back?
No, he said he's like the Browns. We need a quarterback. So
he was out with.
They're all done.
Yeah.
With the Deshaun Watson, they're all done. We're moving on.
They all have said.
And let's
the
have
same
competition.
thing. They said if we get us a quarterback, we gonna go back to the team we was 2 years ago. That's kind of where that's kind of where everybody at on the Browns roster.
All right, go ahead.
All right, if you want more Kenny Pickett talk, G. Bush did a breaking live stream when it happened yesterday. He was filling in for me in the breaking news role.
Ooh.
Did a tremendous job yesterday.
Yeah, I saw
that. He
did
instant reaction to the Kenny Pickett trade. He read a bunch of comments from the chat, some really funny ones. I highly recommend checking out if you want to know how Kenny Pickett can fit in with this Browns team.
And by the way, when you're done watching that, watch my instant reaction.
I watched yours as well.
Thank you. I was watching yours.
Dueling instant reaction.
Yeah,
watch them both. Support.
No, it wasn't. His was live though. Mine I recorded, but
got you.
It was instant for me.
Well, then you should listen to G's on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show channel. Then go over to the bullpen.
Yes, that's right.
On the Bet Rivers YouTube channel.
Go do
Watch
that,
them both.
please.
Check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the Browns, they got a new quarterback. They also have someone new in the building to help protect whoever their quarterback is next season. The Browns signed a guy with a terrific name, Cornelius Lucas.
I mean,
to a 2-year, $10 million contract. We don't know the specifics of how it breaks down. He's played in the league for 11 years. He has 54 career starts. He was undrafted out of Kansas State in 2014, and since then has played for Detroit, the Rams, the Saints, the Bears, and most recently, the Washington Commanders. Last season, Bull, I looked at his PFF stats just to give us
it was good, right?
Very good last season. He started 7 games, 464 total snaps last season. In those snaps, played both left and right tackle, only allowed 1 sack, committed 3 penalties, had a 79.1 pass block grade that was 25th out of 141 qualified tackles, and a 66.7 run block grade that's 54th out of 141 qualified tackles. Our friend Cleve TA, who you accused me of stealing his stuff on this day last year, we love Cleve TA. He tweeted out after the signing that he had Cornelius Lucas as the second best pass blocking option among all tackles available. Not as much of a run blocker, but in terms of pass blocking. So do you guys believe this is a signing just to be the swing tackle, Dawand Insurance, or does Cornelius Lucas have a chance to start on this offensive line next year?
Well, how old is this guy?
34 years old.
Yeah. He's been a backup most of his career.
First of all, this move was because they traded for Laramie Tunsil, so they wasn't going to resign him anyway. So that's that.
Why would the Texans trade Laramie Tunsil?
I want to know that.
He was their only good offensive
we're going to do all the
That was so strange. But
anyways, no, I think that they got him. You said the question is, does he have a chance to start? It's the Cleveland Browns. Everybody got a chance to start here. Unfortunately, there's nothing set. The only person that's set in stone is Joe Bitonio and Wyatt Teller, probably at the guard. Everybody else's position is up for grabs. So with that being said, yes, he has the chance to start. I do believe that they want to run Dawand and they want to run Jack Conklin and have him for the insurance. If you got a guy that's a swing tackle, we know how violent this game is. Guys go down left and right all the time. So if you got a guy that can come in and still keep things going, especially since you're going back to your old style of offense, you take that all the time. So I think that he's an insurance piece. But hey, he come in and he ball, and some people don't do what they're supposed to do. They will put him in the starting lineup because he showed that he can handle it.
Man, offensive line paper mache. They fragile. Conklin did a decent job of staying injury free for the most part last year. Dawand Jones he's been injured since day one. Having injuries, back to his rookie year. Hopefully he's going to be able to start and get a situation where he can get centered and comfortable.
Man, I hope he do.
And just start just, so we can stop talking about these. Because look, I'm just be honest. As I get older in my life, I don't want
care about the linemen.
No, I don't want to spend my time wasting talking about linemen. I don't like.
You say that now.
No, I mean I know they're important.
They're very important.
I know they're important, but I just don't want to like.
It's not sexy. It don't put people in the seats.
No, like this move is this is the move that screams. Dawand Jones is on IR at week 8. Jack Conklin, he got a knee that's hurting. And they try to be like, okay, well, we can't move Bitonio. Bitonio's like, listen, this is my last year anyway. I ain't doing it. And Wyatt Teller is bandaged together. So they bring this guy in instead of
what's his deal?
Instead of Hudson.
What's his deal?
I believe it's 2. Isn't it 2 for 10?
2 for 10.
So James Hudson signed with somebody 2 for 12.
He signed with the Giants, too.
He's terrible.
This guy is better.
Hey, you got
And
This
James
guy's better
Hudson
than
is
James
terrible.
Hudson.
Yes, he is.
I like this.
Yeah.
You got to cut that out.
Obviously, this move by itself is basically nothing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as part of the bigger picture, it's a nice small move.
Mm-hmm.
He's a swing tackle. He's played a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, kudos to this guy who's been in the league a decade and none of us have ever heard of him.
Ever.
I was shocked. And even playing
Never
Madden
heard of him.
and he's been solid. When he's played, he's been solid.
He's been a guy, I don't think he's ever been a team's starter going into the season.
Has not.
But he's ended up starting games every year. He's never started. He's played. I don't think he's been hurt a lot, too. I think he's been a very durable guy. And he's played a lot of games. And most years he starts like 4 or 7. I think there was one year he started like 11 or 12.
He started 12 and 22 the most of his career.
Yeah, like he's never started every game.
What a life.
And it's not because he gets hurt, right? Because he plays most of these games.
He's played in 129 games, 54 starts.
Right. So he's a backup guy. He's played a lot of right tackle, a lot of left tackle. He's a perfect third tackle. You didn't pay him much. He's a veteran. I mean, he's going to turn 34 years old in July. So there's no way the plan is to start him. But he's a good third tackle. Nice move in a small vein.
Where's the O-line coach from?
Rice.
Yep.
How long was he at Rice?
Not that long.
Has
He's a young guy, isn't he?
Was he in the league at all?
Steve, you pull up. We
I
made
believe
his bio. So. His bio is.
Because I'm trying to see if they cross paths.
What, did this guy play at Rice?
No. He played at K-State, but I'm saying like maybe at some point in his career, maybe they cross paths.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. You see that.
No, he was at Stanford when he was in college.
Maybe this kid is just.
This guy played for the Jets in 2000. No, it was
he
too long
graduated
ago.
in 2014.
Yeah, that's right.
So they definitely didn't cross paths.
Did this guy play for Bill Callahan at any point?
All right. Well, when was Callahan before Cleveland?
Boy, that's such a reach.
I don't remember offhand.
I'm just trying to see.
Wasn't he in Washington?
That's what I said.
I might have found a connection.
Bill Callahan. We're diving
When was
deep.
Bill Callahan in Washington? I know he was in Washington.
15-16.
Did this guy was he?
No, he was in Detroit in 15-16.
All right, we did not
There's
find
nothing
a connection.
then. Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
They're going off just
no
the
tie
tape.
over.
It's fine.
They're going off the tape.
Hey, listen, the guy seems to be a productive player as a third tackle. It's not worth going bananas about, but it's a perfectly, nice move.
And it's a little insurance. If Dawand doesn't, they say he's going to be ready for camp. It's the same thing that kept Jed Wills out longer. It's a little bit of insurance if, God forbid, Dawand needs some more time to recover.
God forbid. I mean, that seems a little strong.
Well, the good news is I don't think they're going to take a tackle with the number 2 pick.
No, but they're going to take a tackle. Not a 2, but
they still need to take a tackle.
With the 33rd pick?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
G. Bush will lose his mind.
Unacceptable.
Would you?
He is
At
against
33,
He
you
is
lose your
against them taking a tackle at any
What if they
point.
take
No,
this?
that's not true.
60
That's not true.
or whatever.
He is out of his mind.
That is not true. I'm willing to start taking tackles at the third.
Okay, that's 66
third
or
round.
whatever.
The third round. Don't get
Not
excited.
the early third.
Not the early third.
All right.
That's what we're gonna start.
So
That's
wait a
the starting
second.
point.
If they get Cam Ward, then take a running back at 33,
Then
you would be okay with an offensive lineman?
Oh
at
yeah,
60?
yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
It's a
in
lot
my-
of wide receivers in this draft, too.
but I don't Luther Burden. I don't,
He'll be gone.
But it's not
Yeah,
a
all
great
them
wide
guys.
receiver.
It
I
ain't-
was listening to again. I'm no expert, but I heard
It's not a great receiver class.
They
that
ain't got nothing.
it's an anti-analytics draft. In other words, the strong positions in this draft are not the positions that people generally want. It's a good linebacker draft, a good tight end draft,
Oh, well,
Running
a
back.
good
We definitely
defensive
gonna
tackle
draft one of
draft,
those.
and a good running back draft.
Now look, if they can have one of them edge, I don't got no problem.
They
Like
get
that's
one
why
of
I'm
them.
willing to move back. See, I need 2 first-round picks this draft. That's my thought process.
Trying to get back in the first.
I need to get back, and I need to use that 33 to get back into it.
What you taking?
Well, who
the
you wanna
kid
get?
from Marshall?
Oh, you want the?
I like that team.
You want what's his name? You want Boise?
I
running back?
want-
No, the Browns can't draft another defensive lineman with character issues.
No. I would take Genty. If Genty is hanging
He's
around,
not going to go in the top 20, Genty?
Yes.
Oh, he will. Yeah, absolutely.
You think Genty gonna still be there?
I told you my point on the board, and I always laugh. We ain't got no boards. Y'all ain't got no boards. Stop saying that in these internet chat rooms. My big board. My big board. You ain't got a big board. And stop lying to yourself, bro. You just keep. I don't like that. I don't even got no board. if he get past 17, I'm on the phone.
All right, let's look at the top of this draft and see.
It was. I thought they said he was going to
Genty's considered
Vegas.
a top 10 prospect by everybody.
10?
Yeah, but he's a running back, and
so they can slide.
Don't usually go that high. They did with Gibbs. They did with what's his name? Bijan.
Is he not in that same ilk?
I don't know.
I like him a
It's
lot.
because he went to Boise. That's kind of weird.
But
that's
you know what
No top 10 team is taking
Daniel
him.
Jeremiah has him number 3 overall.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Overall.
Okay.
So where could we see him go? Could we see?
PFF has him 5 overall.
Yes, but
that's
forget that.
irrelevant.
Mike. Forget that.
Where's
Doesn't matter where he's
ESPN.
ranked.
I'm just telling you.
Who's gonna-
the top
so,
4 or 5
Give me
prospects.
the
The teams in the top 10 are all. They're
The
mostly bad
Raiders.
teams. They're not going to draft a running
Raiders.
back.
Where's Dallas?
Let's go.
Dallas is 11 or 12.
Let's
the
go.
Raiders at
The
6.
Bears at 10. They.
They could take him.
I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
49ers at 11.
No.
You know,
Possible.
McCaffrey's getting old.
Yeah.
He's been injured. Dallas at 12.
I'm telling you, Raiders at 6. Don't sleep on them.
At 6?
That's high.
Well, think about it.
They got Pete Carroll. They're trying to
loves
win
to
now.
run
They
the
just got
ball,
Geno Smith.
so and
not the.
Chip coming from.
I'm looking for
State.
Colts. No. Falcons. No. Cardinals.
I wouldn't expect it.
No.
No.
The Bengals.
Who is
No.
that? Oh, they got James Conner.
Seattle, no.
They just extended
No.
James
Tampa
Conner.
Bay. No. Denver could at 20. I could see Denver.
I see Denver.
Because
So
Denver
Yeah.
So-
they don't have a running back.
So you see, I'm looking. If he get past 17, the G. Bush stockpile
I want to
alert
do that.
goes off.
I can see the Steelers at 21.
No, I could definitely see the Steelers, especially if they get Aaron Rodgers.
They taking Jackson Dart.
Texans at 25. I could see that.
Joe
It could
Milton.
happen for sure.
Mixon's
Mixon.
getting
Joe
old.
Mixon.
Yeah. But you know what though, McNuggets, the problem is I like the kid Harvey from UCF. The kid from Iowa's nice.
They got a bunch of running backs.
It's
Yeah,
a
there's a lot of
bunch.
good-
Like so,
I
I don't
can't
know.
see the Browns trading
I
up for
don't.
a
I
running
don't know.
back.
If they could get one comparable.
They could get one in the second
Yeah,
round.
they get one comparable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Because
All right.
the only
All right,
running
next
back going
topic.
first
We are
is
going
Next
to
topic.
keep this train rolling, guys. A quick reminder that if you text the number on the bottom of your screen, you get signed up for UCSS's weekly newsletter. There's an article. Earl writes it every week. Steve does a top 5. He added a on this date in Cleveland sports history to the newsletter because everyone loves those.
Well, what's on this date? What's today's date? What is going on, Steve? Tell us.
Yesterday, it comes out on Monday.
Yeah.
So on yesterday's, let me find the email.
I want to know what happened on this date in Cleveland sports history.
On this date in Cleveland sports history yesterday,
Yeah.
I got to scroll down. The Browns traded for OBJ.
Oh wow.
Oh man, that's right.
We was pumped
I
too.
mean,
Browns also
Man.
traded for Amari Cooper.
When that news came out, that
We were
they
going
traded
nuts on the
for
radio.
Odell,
Actually, Dustin
I
and I had been
lied.
talking about it
lied.
for weeks.
Steve put the whole week on.
Oh.
So yesterday, March 10th, Joe Tate died.
Okay.
That was on this day.
Yeah.
On today's the 11th, so on Thursday would be the anniversary of the Browns trading for OBJ.
Okay. What's today's anniversary? What's today?
There's nothing for today.
Nothing for today.
So
all right.
Sign up
Keep
for the
it moving.
newsletter. Text the number on the screen. It's free. Gets you a weekly update on UCSS.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Other Browns free agency news. We
Yes.
mentioned it earlier, but the Browns are going to cut Dalvin Tomlinson as a post-June 1st cut, saving them about $6.4 million. They have more money to spend in cash. I wanted to mention that the Browns do have opportunities and avenues to open up even more cap space if they so wish. They have not done that yet, but they do have the ability to open up and generate more cap space. So, G, thoughts on cutting Dalvin Tomlinson and what's next for the Browns in free agency? Are they done making moves, or is there still stuff to get done?
Now my man Tyvis is over here. He's already anticipating what I'm coming with on this one.
Hey,
Now look,
we already talked about it.
Here's what I would like to say. As a defensive tackle / defensive end, who's played multiple years with my hand in the dirt, body beaten and bruised up, I'm gonna let you guys know that I know that there's the thing that says you win the game in the trenches.
It's a fact.
You win the game in the trenches.
Fact.
But that's if you got everything else. You got to have defensive ends. You got to have linebackers. You got to have corners that can cover. And my thing is this: when you got 2 down linemen like Dalvin Tomlinson, those guys are very important. But bull, if you can't give me anything in terms of the pass rush, if you can't be a 3-down lineman, just like linebackers, you got to be a 3-down linebacker, Tyvis, to get paid.
Who played? When is it 8?
Why 3 down? You can't be no run stuffing. the linebacker and get that bag.
Yeah, they can.
No.
That happens all the time.
The best linebackers, no, you can't. Box safeties don't get paid.
Not no more, they don't. So Cam Chancellor didn't get paid?
That's back. You talk about.
That's what I said. Not
That's
no
a
more
while
they
ago.
don't.
That's a minute ago.
Yeah.
So when we looking at D tackles, I hope people realize this. Not all of them are created equally. Dalvin Tomlinson was a two-gap guy. He was a guy that was going to help stop the run. But they didn't really stop the run, though. They really didn't stop the run.
He was fine,
he
but
was
he
cool.
wasn't worth spending that money.
That was crazy.
Wait a minute.
It was a crazy bag of money he got.
First of all, when we needed him, the season we were coming off of, we had to do that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why
saying it was a terrible
and
move.
then it was coming to Cleveland, so it wasn't like the greatest option. So they had to overpay for that position.
Sure.
You can't deny the fact that in the 2 seasons that he was, the run stop has been better than what it was before he got here.
Well, it was the first year.
Yeah.
I'm not killing Dalvin Tomlinson. It was time to move on.
I'm not saying that.
That's it.
I'm not saying it ain't.
Well, we're not. I don't think G's saying it was a terrible move, but
G out of line.
I'm just putting it in a perspective for y'all. The way I say it.
I don't like the way that you sit here talking about the game ain't won in the trenches.
No,
it
is
coming from you.
It is one in the trenches, but the thing is, that's too black and white. That is too. That's
the problem with the world. Y'all want a gray area.
But the gray area is this. Yes, Dalvin Tomlinson, you do need to start up front in the trenches. However, you need a guy that can be a 3-down guy. And in terms of giving big time money out, you need to do all three. You need to stop the run, and I need you to get after the quarterback. He just was not that guy.
They brought him here because he filled a need that they needed.
Right, we get it. But going forward,
but moving forward,
especially with all the,
okay. So y'all got an answer to replace this?
No. So here's
that's my question.
My answer to replace him was look. So if you would have hit on Perrion Winfrey, you wouldn't need to spend that money.
That's a fact.
You need a cheaper option.
If Siaki Ika won the 3rd-round pick and never played, you wouldn't have to spend that bag.
That's why they got Siaki Ika.
Tommy Togiai.
Tommy Togiai. You see where we going with it?
We ain't doing that.
When you miss,
we ain't doing no Buckeye slander on this show.
But when you
Billy
miss,
Price, he stinks.
When you miss, think about it. Right now, they got two older, three older guys, right?
Yeah.
Ethan Poaches is at center, right? I thought he had a bad year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Luke Whippler hits,
go Bucks.
We ain't got to worry about that. We just
well, I mean, that's why they traded. He got hurt last year, so they had to bring in Nick Harris.
Yes, and he's a fullback.
Yes,
he's a fullback.
What happened to him? Did he play last year?
Only in Cleveland. Do you?
Speaking of which, do you want Kyle Juszczyk? Should we bring him back to Ohio?
We bring him back.
We don't use fullbacks. So.
Zach Zenner. Hey, look. You got 2 older aging guards. Yes, you win in the trenches, but it's about the evaluations of who these guys are.
Listen, at the end of the day, what I'm going to tell you is the reason this team took a step back last year is because that D-line didn't play to the potential that they played.
Including him?
Including him.
Yeah, yes, that's the thing. And generally...
I'm not saying y'all wrong. Yeah. I'm just saying...
He don't like the way I said it.
I don't like the way
G said it. I get what you're saying. But generally, spending big money on non-pass rushing defensive tackles is not worth it over the long haul.
Well, I think that they were doing it where they wanted to have one guy that was a run stopper and pair him with the pass rusher. That's why they got a Mike Hall.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So, like, you have both.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they got to find a cheaper option at that spot.
Yeah. So what's next in free agency? Tomlin's gone.
Dawand Jones is
him.
a great defensive tackle, very athletic guy from the city of Cleveland. I talked to him, and he said, we'll see.
I like
talk to him yesterday?
I talked to him like yesterday.
Okay.
We'll see.
Is he talking to the Browns or no?
We'll see.
He wouldn't give you a straight what's obviously the Browns, well, not obviously, but I think they're going to still add another quarterback. We've talked about that. I don't think they're going to do anything in free agency at running back. I think that's going to be the draft.
No, they're going to bring Nick Chubb back.
By the way, look.
So everybody can just.
Listen, I hope you're right, because I was.
They're gonna let him go out and find the price that they're gonna.
That doesn't make any sense.
And they're gonna say, you know what? We'll give you.
Here's why I don't buy that.
$2 million. We'll give you $2 million.
Here's why I don't buy that. Because the price is going to be low enough that they should have just paid him $5 million.
Because look at the price right now.
Yeah.
If the price was high, he would have got signed first day.
There's no rumblings on Nick Chubb at all.
We've heard nothing.
It doesn't mean nothing's happening, but we've heard nothing.
Maybe nobody will sign him, and then he can come. The Browns.
I hear you, but the Browns shouldn't let it get to that. Why let it get to that over so little money?
It's business.
Shouldn't be. Not with that guy.
It's business.
Well,
strictly business.
Well, in that case,
it's not personal.
Watch this.
Well, then if it's business, why you bring him back at all?
Well, you might need it. It depends on how this draft shake out.
Hey,
you might not get the guy you want.
If it's just business, I don't hear nobody say Myles Garrett. You said you were gonna. Why'd you get this? No, you said it's business.
I told you.
It's business, right?
Because whoever said that, you know what you tell them? Somebody put $40 million in your face a year, and you tell me you turned it down.
$40 million. Give me 400,000 pennies.
Actually, Travis, I don't really think it's about the Browns offering him $40 million. I've taken Myles Garrett off the hook because he came to the realization of two things.
He wasn't going to get traded.
He was not going to get traded, and he clearly wasn't willing to hold out. So once he came to those realizations, what choice did he have? The $40 million this is going to sound crazy, but let me finish.
Oh, please.
The $40 million from the Browns is irrelevant, and here's why. Because if he would have gotten traded, other teams would have paid him $40 million too. You don't trade for Myles Garrett, and you're not prepared to pay him $40 million.
He'd have got that money.
He would have gotten that money. Obviously, not every team would pay that, but any team that was going to try to trade for him would pay that.
I don't know if that's really that true. Maybe they don't have $40 million to pay.
But then you're not going to trade for Myles Garrett.
Right.
You know he's
yes,
going to
you
want
are.
No, because you know he's going to want to get paid.
If you came back and you said, you know what, we are Myles Garrett away from a Super Bowl, you would take that 1 year and go for that.
But if Myles Garrett, Myles Garrett doesn't have a trade, no trade.
Well, now he does.
Now he does. But
he got it in his contract.
Yeah, he got the no trade. Now.
All right, Myles, way to go.
Hey, he got. Listen, bro. Look, trust me. People will be. G. Bush, you was wrong about what you said. You said he was not. I said, bro, listen. I just told people I was never getting married after I got half my stuff took. And guess what? I got married. I'm 5 years in, and they didn't give me $40 million to do it.
That's right. That's right. In the end, he was like, well, they're not going to trade me. I don't want to hold out because I want to play. Okay, $40 million. That sounds fair.
Now, Nick Chubb, come on, man. Just give him the little measly $2 million, Bill.
It's business.
Man,
do we think the Browns?
We got to see what we can do in free agency first.
Whatever list has his best free agents left on the board?
Right.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I made a graphic. Steve, give me 2 seconds.
I figured you would.
Look at you, McNuggets. Just always prepared.
I should have had it ready.
By the way, I just went like this as if I was passing you the ball, but that's a shot. I was
going to say, that was a push shot. That was disgusting.
Bad shot.
If that's how you shoot a basketball and we played, I would never pass you the ball.
Dude, that's rude to not pass me the ball.
If you shoot like that, it's not going to do any good for us.
I have said more than one time that I am maybe the worst shooter in the history of basketball.
We got to view it.
I have made this clear. I've never tried to pretend I'm any good at basketball.
The fact that Earl can't play basketball, it just don't sit well with me.
But not every black guy is good at basketball.
His daughter plays basketball. How does he not know how to play?
From him. I don't know.
So, Bull, I made this graphic this morning. Too. Since I made it, Javon Hargrave has signed with the Vikings, so he's off the board. He's headed to Minnesota. According to CBS, these were their top remaining free agents
Jay
after yesterday.
I'm not really interested in any of those
cop
guys.
Jay Reed.
Is Stephon Diggs washed?
He's coming off the torn ACL.
Some little case. He might have a case. So you know what I'm saying. Some
girl
claiming some stuff.
I think
not right now in Cleveland. Right now,
he be in the streets a little bit.
I can't have the Browns got to buckle down at least temporarily on character.
Yeah.
You got to buckle down.
Listen, and I ain't been one of those guys. Look, see, I'm growing. I'm just trying to show my growth here. Listen, at least for 3 years. Right now, 3 years. We going just a couple years. We going.
I mean, he would be great if without all. It'd be great. But
and he's never happy. Wherever he goes, he hates it. He was miserable in Minnesota, then he got miserable in Buffalo. He's miserable playing with Josh Allen. He was the clear number one guy.
He got him.
Josh just wasn't getting it done.
He's not Antonio Brown angry.
No, not that level.
But I'll be confused. I'm like, Stephon Diggs, they're throwing you the ball every other play. Why are you upset, my man?
Yeah,
they ain't winning.
I mean,
what do you mean they weren't winning?
Well, I mean, but he's going to the AFC Championship. He got one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah.
Just sit there and.
Stephon Diggs. You know, I come to the realization that if I played quarterback in the NFL, I would want to play in the NFC.
Well, all the best quarterbacks in the AFC.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's why Washington.
That's ridiculous.
Why do you think Washington's gone buck wild this offseason with trading free agency?
How is it that one conference has 7 of the top 8 quarterbacks in the NFL?
It ebbs
that
and flows.
Makes no sense to me.
The NFC used to be worse. In the NFC, you had the 49ers.
Back in the day.
Cowboys. So you went for the 49ers, went from Montana
to Steve
Young.
Yep.
They had Troy Aikman was over there moving around. Even in the late 90s, they had Kurt Warner. They had
the whole
Giants,
NFC East was
the whole
great
NFC
for a
East.
while.
The Eagles had McNabb.
Washington had that great run for a while with Theismann.
They had Mark Rippon and
The NFC used to. There was a stretch where the NFC was winning the Super Bowl almost every year.
Yeah, we didn't have nothing.
Remember the Bills would go to the Super Bowl every year to get their ass kicked in the Super Bowl?
Right.
But this is
no matter who it was.
Yeah.
Bull. How can you be an AFC team and expect your quarterback to come in and beat three of
It's tough.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar,
And Burrow.
Hold on.
That's ridiculous.
So hold on.
Justin Herbert,
Tape this.
CJ Stroud.
So tape this moment.
Yeah.
Mark it right down. Tyvus just keeps proving me right, and we just got done talking about 2-down defensive tackles.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro.
Get 75 of them and put them up front and see
All
if you
right,
win.
let's leave it there for now. We got Mike's dad in attendance. Is your mom here too?
My brother's upstairs, yeah.
Your brother's
working. My dad's here, so.
Wait, your brother's working?
He's got to do a little work, so he's in the office upstairs.
But I said, is your mom here?
She's not here, no.
Oh, okay. I said, is your mom here? And Mike goes, my brother's upstairs.
Yeah,
I was just saying, my mom's not here, but my brother's upstairs.
Oh,
Dad's
okay,
here,
gotcha.
so.
All right. There we go.
Maybe
All
we'll get him
right.
on for overtime. Maybe we'll have my dad on. For overtime.
Let's switch up to some
We're
Cavaliers.
gonna talk some Cavs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe
Yes.
button. So costs $0.00. Helps you see us out on the back end and the front end
Yeah.
and the side end and the analytics
Every
and
end.
the community. It happens all the ends, and it
Yeah.
costs you $0. Do us a favor, hit the like button, tell your friends
Yeah.
to subscribe. We got Charles Davis in 10 minutes. We're gonna talk Cavs here, and then we're gonna talk Cavs after Charles as well. But
Okay.
Brian Windhorst, it was either last night or the night before, was asked about whether or not the Cavs should be considered the favorite in the Eastern Conference. He responded with this, and then we're going to react to Windhorst's comments, whether you think they're fair or not. Steve, let's hear what Brian Windhorst has to say.
Exactly what Donovan just said there. That soundbite he has said in one form or another dating back to September, which is it doesn't matter what we do in the regular season. What matters is how we perform in the playoffs. And he says that not just to set the example for his team, but from, experience, because he had some really good teams in Utah. Okay, not this good of a team in Utah, but the Jazz at times were the number 1 overall seed in the whole playoffs and weren't able to get it done. Weren't even able to get to the conference finals. And so part of it is the Cavs haven't done it yet. Cavs haven't proven that they can win 12 games in a playoff setting, which is what you're going to need to get to the finals. What is very impressive about this team was on display last night. Donovan Mitchell did not have a good shooting night. Darius Garland did not have a good shooting night. Evan Mobley did not have a good shooting night. Yet on the road, they beat a quality team, potential second-round opponent, because they're so deep and have so many different ways they can play.
Chief Bush, you got any problem with what Brian Windhorst said?
No, I don't have a problem with what he said, but in kind of dissecting and getting down to what he's saying there are sometimes I would rather be the team that hasn't proven anything than the team that has proven something. I think sometimes we tell ourselves, yeah, give me the championship pedigree. We know where our guys have been there. But sometimes I done been on both sides where, hey, we're an upcoming team and we just know we're good and we got you. And then there's another set of teams where I've been on where we've won before, kind of, played medium and kind of sleptwalked through some games. But the problem is, if you lean on that championship pedigree too much, I feel like that's you get drunk off that. You don't have the edge, because instead of sensing any fear and sensing that, hey, we can get hurt out here. We got some blind spots we need to really clean up. And instead of you cleaning up those blind spots and really focusing and drilling down on what are some things that's causing you not to be at a championship level, you mask everything with, we won last year. And that's very dangerous. Like, not to say that happened to the Golden State Warriors, in 2016, but they got over the hump. They were there. They beat the Cavs, and people talked about, oh, well, listen, Golden State, this is the first time there. and they won that year in 15, and then it looked like in 16 they was kind of like, oh, we already done did this before. You start having Klay Thompson talking about, running his mouth a little bit, and LeBron them kind of got things going. But for me, I want the Cavs to be hungry, and I think you being the new upstart team has its advantages, especially when you've had the best record and you've done pretty good against the Celtics, Tyvus.
Yeah, I think that what he said was the right thing, and I think that's what a lot of people feel about the Cavs right now. It's great now, and you worry, can they win 12 games? The one thing that he said though that was interesting to me was he talked about the Bucks game, about how all these different guys, the best players, didn't have a particularly good game, but yet they still won the game. And what scares me about that statement is we talk about all the time when playoffs come around how the rotation shrinks. So my question would be, if those guys aren't having a good game and you shorten the rotation, where is the points coming from if those guys aren't on? So that kind of worries me because we all say, well, he's been playing 10, 11 guys a night, and all 10, 11 guys have been contributing to these wins. Like this one, it was Strus, Sam Merrill, but Sam Merrill's a guy that's on the fence of rotation minutes in the playoffs. So like that type of thing kind of scares me a little bit, but I'm confident that these guys won't have that off of a night. And if they did, it wouldn't be the core four. Like I feel like maybe one of them, maybe two of them at the most will have an off night, but not all four together.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that they had an off night in this. Shooting-wise, yeah, you could say that, but I think they still made their presence known, whether it was rebounding or assists. So I think that they can still be effective in the game in that way.
So, Mike, this is easy. So we all have to admit, and I think some in the fan. So you told me that there were some Cavs fans that were upset by what
very
Windhorst
upset
said,
by those comments,
which is
why
insane to me that anybody would be upset. There's zero insult in what he said. He only said facts. Fact, the Celtics are the favorites. Fact, the Celtics should be the favorite. Now, maybe I guess technically that's not a fact. That's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
But
bad job out of you.
It's a fact that they are the favorites. And they deserve to be because the Celtics, fact, have proven it. They've won in the playoffs. The Cavs have not. Donovan Mitchell has said it all year. Why would you be offended by something Brian Windhorst said that Donovan Mitchell has basically said the whole season? Maybe he hasn't said it that direct, but Brian Windhorst started the whole conversation by saying this is what Donovan's been saying all year, and he's right. Here's the thing. We all have to admit that there's a part of us that no matter how well the Cavs play, we all feel a tiny bit insecure about how they're going to perform in the playoffs because they have been disappointing in the playoffs the first 2 years. And we can acknowledge that we all think this team is way better than the last 2 years and still have a little part of us that's insecure. And that's the fans that are mad, Mike. The fans that are mad at what Brian Windhorst said are showing their insecurities. Instead of admitting that they're a little insecure, they're showing it by getting mad at Brian Windhorst.
What if those fans, you know how we always joke and say, bullpens are year to year.
Right, yes.
Turnovers in NFL, year to year. So just because you had, a great year at certain things last year does not mean that predicts whether or not you're going to have a good or bad success this year. Because some of those fans be like, look, the team that we had was a completely different team. We didn't have DeAndre Hunter. That's a new sample size. Obviously, Kenny Atkinson, brand new coach, different sample size.
And that's all fair, but it's not a completely different team because your four best players are still here and have been here the last 2 years as the team has collapsed in the playoffs.
And some would say, all right, well, Evan Mobley is a completely different player.
Agreed.
Now, I think, can you still say all those things and still say, I'm going to give the Celtics the nod? Of course, I think those people just have a problem with being like, oh, man, I'm watching this team come out and dominate. But they don't like to concede the fact that even though you're dominating right now, there's a chance that might not carry over to the postseason.
Right. And let me ask you this. When LeBron was here, and I understand Jason Tatum, not LeBron. But how many times were the Cavs the one seed?
Not very many.
Not all the time.
And it didn't even matter.
And were we going into the playoffs saying the Atlanta Hawks should be the favorite because they had the best record?
The Toronto,
and again, I'm not saying the Cavs are the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not saying I don't believe in the Cavs. I have a lot of confidence in the Cavs. I have way more than I've had the last 2 years, and I absolutely think they can beat the Celtics and win a championship. I'm just saying it's not unfair to think that the Celtics should be favored because they have proven it when it matters the most.
Yes.
This may be the year, and I think there's a decent chance this is the year the Cavs do prove it. But until they've done it, you can't blame some people for doubting.
So watch this. So remember when LeBron was here in 2018? And LeBron, Kyrie had got traded.
Yeah.
Everybody was they had Rodney Hood.
They did him wrong.
Yeah.
Jordan
Clarkson.
Yeah.
Lance. This guy, so first round,
Still took him to the final.
four games, and that was when Victor Oladipo was playing for the Pacers. He was playing out of his mind. They beat them. Then you got to get to a point where you play the second round. I believe that in the second round they played the Hawks. No, the second round was the Raptors, and that's when they had Lowry and those guys, and LeBron single-handedly beat them.
Yeah.
He destroyed that franchise.
They get to Boston.
A lot of people thought Boston was going to win that
Boston should have won the series.
Yep.
They had Tatum. They had Kyrie Irving. He was hurt that year. He was hurt. But Brown, and they had a cast of guys, right? And
I think Jason Tatum's rookie year.
I think he might have been his second year.
But
But
I think it was Tatum's rookie, Brown's second.
so they get to that game.
He dunked on Bron.
And the Celtics win an early game in that series, and then LeBron James comes back, and it's a Game 7 in Boston Garden.
Yeah.
And I just remember sitting there, Boston Celtics fan. It's a wrap. You're not winning this game. And LeBron James single-handedly was like, no, this doesn't matter because you guys haven't been here yet.
And the Celtics, while obviously Jason Tatum's not as good as LeBron, the team is better than LeBron's team.
So now I can fully if you Tatum and Brown and Holiday and Brazil, they're not worried about no one seed.
And you're right, their confidence, and maybe they're overconfident, and maybe that will cost them. I think the Cavs can win, but
let me ask Big Nuggets. I need you to do me a favor.
So yes, sir. What's up?
Can you look up last year's performance in the playoffs, like the final scores for the games that Donovan played against the Celtics?
Yes, and while I'm doing that, I want to also mention that it is fair to have the same critique of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
100%.
I agree.
1,000%.
A lot of people got the Lakers beating them.
100%. But the biggest difference is there's no defending champs in the West.
Right.
So the Thunder, in theory, and would anybody be shocked if they didn't get to the finals? I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't get to the finals. The Thunder have just as much to prove as the Cavs do, 100%.
We got Charles Davis, so let me get the answer to Tyler's question real quick. In the 3 games Mitchell played, the Cavs lost Game 1, 120-95.
Woo!
They won Game 2, 118-94. And then they lost Game 3, 106-93. Mitchell did not play in Games 4.
Again, the Cavs are a way better team
The
now.
only reason I say that is we seen the performances of the supporting cast last year. It was Donovan, and that was it.
That was it. So Cavs are way better.
They're playing way better. If they can just pull their weight, they should be able to beat them.
But the Celtics
Shut up.
Remember the Celtics didn't have Porzingis.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
true.
last thing before we bring in Charles, even though it's 2-2, I would argue the Celtics have outplayed the Cavs in their 4 games overall this year, in my opinion.
You know, if you can combine the 4 scores, it's a 1-point difference.
Yeah, that's a little
I'm just saying, it shows how close
Who do you think's the better team in the 4 games overall?
Overall?
The Celtics.
Yeah, because the Cavs had to come back in the 4th quarter.
And the Celtics have had more injuries that they've dealt with in those games.
Injuries be damned. That happens in basketball.
True.
It's
Fair
been
enough.
close.
All right,
let's
get Charles.
Let's bring Charles Davis in after a quick word from FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started. There's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you missed the opening tip-off or want to bet on a 4th quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action, and if you're looking for bigger payouts, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And with that, we welcome Charles Davis to the show. How you doing today, Charles?
I'm doing well. How's everyone today?
We're doing great, Charles.
We're doing well.
I had Charles on my podcast a couple months ago. We had a great time. We had a long chat, really fun chat. It was great. But go ahead, G. I didn't cut you off.
This is for my people on Reddit. They have hit me up, and it's almost a cult there. They said, listen, if you're going to have Charles on, we need to give you our Madden 26 list. They want connected franchise to come back. They also want the stadium prices and create a play to come back. I told them I can only give you 2 out of the 3. I'll float that to you. I don't know.
Hey, you can give me the whole list. I mean, whatever it is, I'll be happy to pass it on. But as they say, above my pay grade. So I'm just going to everybody else deal with that.
They say, Charles, this is the script. We're going to have you read it. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Then they tell me you can go from there. All right, nobody has you.
Charles, what do you think of? Obviously, the Browns have made the trade for Kenny Pickett. What did you think of that trade? And we're hearing the rumblings that they still might get Kirk Cousins, possibly by the end of this weekend.
Yeah, I think that the Kenny Pickett trade, I didn't think much of it, truthfully. I mean, it's swapping him in DTR, and you're really swapping a backup. So I don't see him as a real contender to be your starter unless a whole lot of nothing happens. And if a whole lot of nothing happens, I think Myles Garrett might go back and ask to take his name off the contract. So the reason I say that is I just can't see any world where Myles Garrett didn't talk with Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski and obviously ownership and say, listen, the money's great. Don't get me wrong. No one's kicking back. Was it $40 million? But at the same time, it still stands. I'd like to win some ball games around here. What are we going to do? It just feels like they had to have assured him they're going to do everything possible to try and fix the quarterback position because that's where it all starts. The move for Kenny Pickett is not the fix. Is Kirk Cousins coming? That's a bigger signal. If Kirk Cousins is coming, that may change what you do at number 2. That's going to be the interesting part because sitting at 2, I'm firmly convinced that no other moves made. They don't leave without getting one of those quarterbacks. You're either getting Cam Ward or you're getting Shedeur Sanders. But if the way it's going, if somehow Kirk Cousins shows up, I don't know that Kirk Cousins shows up and then they draft another quarterback where Kirk Cousins goes, we did this to me in Atlanta last year. What are we doing here? I just don't know if we're going to do that. This would be interesting.
That is very interesting, you bringing that up. I never thought about it from Kirk Cousins' standpoint. Like, does he want to come in and be a placeholder when we just kind of did this thing with Penix in Atlanta? If Kirk Cousins, say for instance, is the guy, how much would they be interested in looking at a guy like Abdul Carter since you did get Myles Garrett back, or a guy that I think we've all forgotten about, a guy like Travis Hunter who is kind of like missing a little bit? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, to me, if you're going to get Kirk Cousins in this year's quarterback draft, right, if you're not saying I'm investing in one of these guys as my future guy, I think you're looking at a Travis Hunter. You're looking at an Abdul Carter. You're looking at who is best at that spot to help fill out my ball club. And, look, Kirk Cousins doesn't have the greatest leverage in the world because, remember, it's going to have to be a deal to get him away from Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have to do anything on this thing. They've just kind of assured him, hey, we understand you want to be a starter, and we'll look around for you with you. This is where it gets a little bit dicey because if I'm Cleveland, how long do I get Kirk Cousins for? Remember, things were rocking along last year. They were 6-3. He was playing pretty darn well. He put 500 plus on Tampa Bay one game, plus like 5 touchdown passes. It looked great. Injuries kicked in. He fell off the map. Here comes Penix. Off we go from there. How long are you getting the Kirk Cousins you're wanting and needing in order for you to pass up on one of these quarterbacks? This comes back to Andrew Berry, the scouting department, Kevin Stefanski. What do you feel about Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? How much conviction do you have? Because if you have that conviction, I don't know that you make that deal with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'm with you, Charles. I mean, if I like the quarterbacks, they may not be able to get Cam Ward, obviously, if he goes to Tennessee. but there's no way I'm letting Kirk Cousins stand in the way of me getting a potential franchise quarterback that they've been looking for forever. I know in your mock draft you had quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Yeah. So give us your thoughts, if you will, on Shedeur. Wow, you have Shedeur going 1. Okay, there you go. So Cam Ward 2 and then Jackson Dart 3. I think we would all love that if Cam Ward ended up in Cleveland. I think most of us prefer Cam Ward. Who knows? Tell us why you put him in that order and what you think of each of the 3 guys.
Yeah, look, you do mock drafts. I have to do 3 of them. Okay? Yeah. So this was my first one. I've got 2 more to come. You always want to have yours be a little bit different than everyone else's.
Sure.
But you also want it to be somewhat plausible. Here's why Shedeur Sanders instead of Cam Ward to Tennessee. Brian Callahan, head coach, offense coordinator, where was he? Cincinnati. Shedeur Sanders plays more like Burrow plays in terms of from the pocket, ball see it, boom, ball goes to the right spots, the whole deal. What did Brian Callahan watch a lot of last year? Will Levis going off platform and crazy things happening. Okay? Shedeur Sanders doesn't play that way at all, right? If you go back and watch his highlight tape, you're not seeing a heck of a lot of off-platform craziness that we go, oh my God, what did we just see? That was wild. That's Cam Ward. I don't know if Brian Callahan wants to do that 2 times in a row, and that's what I'm thinking in a mock draft. Who knows how it really comes down? But that's why I went Shedeur Sanders there. Make Brian Callahan happier that way. 2, Cam Ward, no-brainer. Cleveland's got to go get their QB. This kid is the consensus number 1 quarterback from everyone I'm talking to around the league and people who are analyzing it. Most people have Cam Ward ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So that's why he's obviously going to Cleveland. And then 3, I know the Giants at 3 and Jackson Dart, that feels very, very rich, and I totally understand that. And I did this 6 days ago. If Jackson Dart ended up going at that point to Las Vegas, or at that point going to who else was in the market then? The Jets. People might go, oh, okay, that makes a little sense because he's going to 6, 7, 8, whatever the number is. 3 might feel too high to people, but the Giants have to get a quarterback. Mm-hmm. All right, are you really going into next year with Tommy DeVito? Is that really where we're going now? Because Daniel Jones is long gone, and that money went out the window. That didn't work out very well for you. And we've all been in this game long enough that you've seen people get pushed up in this draft that later on you've kind of gone, what just happened here? Where have you gone, Joe Walker? Where have you gone, Christian Ponder? Right? Where have you gone? Josh Rosen, who got moved up to get him. These things happen in this. And by the way, it's not a huge quarterback market this year for drafting. So sometimes that creates that artificial and pushes guys up. Now, do I think it's likely? Probably not. But it is food for thought.
Charles, let me ask you, what if the Browns didn't go quarterback at 2? What position or what player do you think they go after? I know there's 2 hot names between Abdul and Travis Hunter. Which one would you take if you weren't going to go quarterback and say you were going to draft a quarterback maybe in the 2nd or the 3rd round?
Yeah, if they're not going to take a quarterback there, I hope that means they're getting Kirk Cousins. Okay, and I'm going to get Travis Hunter, and I'm going to play him on offense because I've got to get some things really kick-started on that side of the ball. I've got to get things going to where I have some consistency and have people that scare people downfield. All right. They've been trying to find people to scare people downfield for a while now, and those guys kind of coming up. And this guy here, he can do that for you. Plus, you're going to play him a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're just going to have to be very judicious about how they start out doing it. I know he wants to be a full-time guy, but what did he weigh in at the combine? 180-something? And during the season, he probably played in the 170s. So you just worry a little bit about that because – remember, Emmanuel Forbes came out and was a first-round pick at 166, and now he's already on his 2nd team. I just want to make sure this kid stays healthy and gives me a chance to make plays. And Andrew Berry's already on record as saying he sees him as a receiver first. I would go get that kid and back on offense.
You know, people have been looking at me crazy. I love the running back class. Listen, and I don't like when people say big boards. We don't got no big boards. We need to stop saying that. I don't have a big board. I'm just watching everybody else, and then I'm going to take a consensus. That's your big board. You stop.
I like how you keep it real like that. Thank you.
I ain't got no big board. But listen, these running back class, Ashton Genty, Amarion Hampton, you got the 2 running backs from Ohio State. Could you see, people tell us all the time, running backs don't go in the first round. Could you see how many running backs go in the first round, or do you see any of those guys sneaking up and taking more than we usually do in the past?
I could easily see 3 going in the first round. It wouldn't shock me. Okay. You mentioned 3. You mentioned Hampton as the second one. Obviously, Genty's the top guy. Then it's kind of pick your flavor, I think, between Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State. And they're 2 different backs. If you want to throw the ball a little bit more to your back, that's a little bit more Henderson. If you're much more of a thumping type of a team, that's Judkins, who weighs about 20 pounds more. So it's an interesting look. But that, as you pointed out, we can just keep going with running backs, right? You want to get into the second round because let's say Genty becomes the only back that goes in the first round, all right? I have a sneaking suspicion Hampton's going to get in there. But let's say there's only one that goes. When we start the second round, that starts to run on runners, okay? And someone said to me yesterday, a former GM in this league, he said, we keep talking about devaluing running backs. Maybe we should say, no, we're just not picking the right runners. Because when you have the right runner, everything changes. Look at Baltimore last year. Look at Philadelphia last year. This is what powers you. My only thing is, as the offensive coordinators, people are calling the plays, the offensive units, you are not really known as a cool offensive coordinator unless you're flinging it around, right? Mm-hmm. Those guys who can resist that and turn and hand that thumper for 4 quarters and beat people up on the other side and win ball games, that's a great offensive coordinator. Do you have the conviction to stay with that run game that's working for you? Because you guys have watched a lot of ball. How many times have you seen people work it? Nah, got to throw it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. We've been watching that for the last 5 to 10 years. Chubb and Hunt is back there. Just keep giving it to him, man. Can you keep giving it to him?
It's hard, but it's a very hard thing to do because there's also a lot of teams that have those guys out wide that you can just see one-on-one. If I just get it to him, it can turn into a big play, and it's almost irresistible at times to do it. I totally get that, but we always talk about what are the colleges giving us? On the defensive side of the ball, the colleges are giving us smaller people because they're dealing with those spread offenses in college. And over the last 10 years, if you look at the sizes of the defenders, they've gotten smaller. Not like, all of a sudden they're playing with nothing but peewees. I'm just saying they're smaller guys because look at the linebackers in the box. You don't see LaVon Kirkland in the box anymore, okay?
Nope.
You're not seeing those kind of guys. You're seeing 225, 230-pound max that are playing inside now, 220 pounds. It's a different game if you choose to stay with it. And I don't have this in front of me, but my impression is over the last 5 years, the top 5 to 6 running backs in total yardage for the year have all been 215 and above. Bigger backs are thriving in this league right now.
Charles, I'm curious your thoughts on some of the quarterback movement here in terms of the veterans. Geno getting traded, Sam Darnold signing with Seattle, Daniel Jones signs with Indy. We'll see where Aaron Rodgers ends up here, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields to the Jets. And then we were scratching our heads about the Laramie Tunsil deal. For Washington, great move, but Houston's O-line was already bad, and they just traded their best guy. So if you can give us some thoughts on that, that'd be great.
I'll start there. That one surprised, I think, everyone. Because Tunsil, despite a ton of penalties, he's one of the leading penalty guys in the league for the last few years, is still a Pro Bowl, all-pro style player. And you've got that young quarterback back there. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The only thing I can think is they drafted the youngster Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame last year who played right tackle. Maybe they have a plan for him to be the left tackle for them. I think they were better with Titus Howard going from right tackle inside to guard, but then they still have to fill the whole right tackle again. I think we're all a little bit surprised, but Washington's telling everyone, in Dan Quinn's terms, we're going for it.
Oh, no doubt.
And And you can go for it because your quarterback's in the second year of a rookie contract.
Yeah.
And he's elite. So this is when you make your move. Adam Peters did that. The rest of the quarterback movement, remember, I did my mock draft 6 days ago. Now I look at it. Oh my goodness. The Jets were a quarterback team, right? No longer. Justin Fields is filled in, right? The Giants, we have to see what happens there. They're sitting at 3. And remember, I was the crazy one who gave them Dart at 3. Mm-hmm. What if they don't get Rodgers? What if that doesn't happen? Right? Sam Darnold, who I think should have stayed in Minnesota, but I understand why he's going to go to Seattle. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. He backfills there and he gets more money. Well, Seattle's out of that market. We know that one. This is going to be very interesting to see how this movement goes, because the moves we're seeing, guys, in my humble opinion, are telling us how the league feels about this year's crop of quarterbacks coming out. We wouldn't have had this kind of movement last year because we had all those quarterbacks in the first round. We had 6 of the top 12 picks. And by the way, 1 didn't play the entire year because he was hurt. The other 5 had an impact. And that's a legit statement. They all had an impact. Penix late in the year, Drake May from about midseason on, right? And maybe a little bit before that. Bo Nix could have been Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, who was Rookie of the Year. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. Caleb Williams, I realize it collapsed in Chicago, but you can't tell me you didn't see flashes of why he went number 1 overall. So all in all, it was a crazy year. The league's saying we're not having that year this year. Okay, we're talking about 2 near the top, and maybe they've been pushed higher than they would normally go. Do we have the appetite in the stomach for anyone beyond that? Is it a Jackson Dart? Is it a Tyler Shuck? Is it a Jalen Milroe? Does anyone go that high? I don't know. But if you don't get him at 3, if you're the Giants and you don't sign Aaron Rodgers, when do you get your cue?
Charles, there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors about Brandon Ayuk being traded to the Browns, and we know that Andrew Berry loves to make a splash trade, especially when it comes to wide receivers. What do you think of that, Brandon Ayuk to the Browns?
Listen, I've mentioned before about Travis Hunter and needing to be able to make bigger plays downfield. Ayuk's that type of a player. One of his favorite routes is about that 15 to 18-yard dig route that takes you to the inside portion, and you stick that ball on him, and then he's strong enough to bounce through some things and make some more plays. So I'm a big Brandon Ayuk fan. I don't think that everything came for him because they played off of Debo or they played here or played whatever. It's a very good system in San Francisco. Ayuk, I think, is also an excellent player in his own right, and he can find his own way.
Go ahead, Mikey.
Charles, when I was making your bio today, I came across your Wikipedia page, and before I ask the question, I have to make sure this is accurate.
Oh, boy.
Were you actually born in Elizabethton?
I was, absolutely, in the old Carter County Hospital. Now, the new Carter County Hospital is probably about 50 years old now. But at the time, we called it the old Carter County Hospital. Yes, Elizabethton, that's my mother's family. The Richmonds, still up there on Watauga Avenue. And, I was fortunate to be born there before we moved to New York when I was 2. You must have a East Tennessee connection.
Well, my first job was in Bristol. We covered Elizabethton. That's where Jason Witten went to high school. His brother, Sean Witten, is the coach at Elizabethton High School right now with a couple of state championships.
And when Jason was in school, he played for his grandfather, Coach Ryder, who was the immortal.
You didn't know that, Mike.
Yes. I didn't, but I have a question about Northeast Tennessee real quick, because you went to Knoxville, played at University of Tennessee too.
Yeah.
Was Pals around, Charles, when you were growing up, and is Pals the greatest single Northeast Tennessee local fast food restaurant in America?
That's a great question because I never experienced it.
After his time.
I mean, you made an obscure reference.
Well, if he's from Elizabethton, it was made in that area. It's in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is 15 minutes from.
What kind of fast food?
Yeah, you have to understand. I left Elizabeth. My family, we moved from Elizabethton in 1967. Okay, so if I would have been on a visit back.
Okay,
but that one's not in the gray matter at all, unfortunately. So it sounds like I missed out.
I had to try.
Yeah, I had to try.
And really quickly before we go,
I did my research. I got to get credit for the research at least.
You did well. I'll ask my cousins about it.
There you go.
Is Tennessee considered the South?
Of course.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So Kentucky is the South too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kentucky is also the South,
Yeah.
but Kentucky is a very interesting spot because with the Kentucky border, you're right there with Ohio as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of Ohio, which we consider Rust Belt and North, there's a Southern influence into Ohio with the Ohio-Kentucky border. So when we were in school, Kentucky considered Tennessee their biggest rival because we were the only state that bordered them in the SEC. So that was a big, big deal for the Tennessee-Kentucky thing. We weren't Hatfields and McCoys, but we were close.
Charles, great stuff as always, man.
As
We appreciate
always.
taking the time. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care of yourselves, okay?
All right.
Be well. Charles Davis, always great to chat with him. And he has, in his mock draft, quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3. We'll see what happens. Obviously,
The way he explained it wasn't too crazy. Like, because if you the Giants, where you getting a quarterback from if they're off the board?
Yeah, now, rumors are that they're the favorites to sign Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, that's a short-term situation.
So what's the Steelers doing?
Taking Jackson.
Or the I
I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to the Steelers.
I thought he was. Going
I thought
to
the Giants
Steelers,
were the
too.
favorite for Aaron Rodgers. Now, is it the Steelers?
It's up in the air. According to FanDuel, they're both at minus.
Yeah, I mean,
120.
whoever Russell Wilson maybe ends up at the other place, or Gardner Minshew, or
Why? But
It's desolate out there.
But don't Pittsburgh gotta make it?
Why
They have to have Aaron. You just got DK Metcalf. Why would you?
Yeah. Why would Aaron Rodgers want to play for the Giants? I mean, I don't know why the Giants would want Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know why Aaron Rodgers would want the Giants.
They're
It
not
doesn't
better
make
than the
sense.
Jets.
Because they got Malik Neighbors.
I know
They
that,
had-
but
they
they're
had
not
Wilson.
winning.
You got a point there.
It wasn't like
He ain't got to move.
I think we're at the point where trying to predict what Aaron Rodgers wants is a futile
I mean,
experience.
I don't know why anybody would want him at this point, unless maybe you thought you were like the Steelers. I kind of can
I
understand.
could kind of get the Steelers.
I don't know why a bad team would want Aaron Rodgers. It just doesn't make sense.
This is Aaron Rodgers.
He's 40.
Yeah. LeBron is too.
But LeBron and Tom Brady are freaks. They're the
They've changed our
exception, not the rule.
perception. Not every player can play till 45, and not every NBA player can still be
No,
effective
in
at 40.
fact, none can, except for those
it's the
guys.
one in the exception. They are the exception.
But it feels like the Steelers at this point are actually desperate.
They're trying to get to
Like,
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to get to the second.
Well, they don't want Russell. They don't want to go Russell Wilson again.
They don't have Fields. They don't want to go Russell Wilson. So if I'm sitting here and you just got DK Metcalf and then gave him an extension, the Steelers don't even like giving extensions to nobody.
No, that's true.
So like you got Pickens, who's already bad because he ain't getting the ball now. We're like, listen,
Yeah.
George, the season hasn't started, but I didn't get the ball yesterday. It's not.
Yeah.
It's the draft.
Yeah.
So these dudes, Fryer, they got some pieces.
yeah,
They feel like they got to get Aaron Rodgers.
they lost Najee Harris. Where did he sign? I forgot.
Chargers.
Oh, right.
One-year deal.
Oh, he's gonna go out there and play fullback. You know, hard.
They don't have a running back.
Yeah, Dobbins is still a free agent,
JK
so
is gone.
Yeah,
they replaced
they
those
actually got off that good start and then went down.
We're
the
going to
tubes.
talk about some of the other free agency moves in a
Yeah,
sec.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
Bull, you mentioned this yesterday on the show. Before we do that, we're going to have an Ultimate Cavs show with Jason later this week. He is back in America.
He is.
I'm going to give him a day to get jet lag
Okay.
free, and then we will react and have an Ultimate Cavs show either Thursday or Friday morning. For
Is
you
he on the
guys.
show tomorrow?
He took vacation.
I have no idea when Jason's
Yeah, I
back.
haven't seen
I just
Jason
know he's
forever.
back in the States. He
Yeah.
texted me yesterday. He has landed. So we'll get an Ultimate Cavs show for you guys coming up. And in that vein of the Cavaliers, Bull, you mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
They have a chance to do something that we can't 100% confirm, but are pretty sure has only happened once in the modern last 50 years.
Right.
And that is a basketball team losing fewer regular season games in the same season than the football team. We found out that
insane.
the
It's
73-win
insane.
Warriors did that when they lost fewer games than the Raiders did when they were still the Oakland
Right.
Raiders back in the day. And right now, the Cavs are 54-10 with 18 games to go. And the Browns lost 14 games in their season in 2024.
Right.
So instead of asking can, because we've talked about the fact that they can, the question is will they? Will the Cavaliers finish the regular season with fewer losses than the Cleveland Browns did in their regular season?
So they have to win 69 games. If they win 68, it's tied.
It's tied, correct.
69. They've got 18 games left.
And
At some
54
point,
wins.
they're gonna. At some point in the next, with at least a week or two to go, they're gonna clinch the top seed in the East. Now, how hard they're going to play for the top overall seed against Oklahoma City, I don't know.
They're better.
They're playing a lot of bad teams the rest of the season, but they do have 4 games in the last 2 weeks against the Knicks and Pacers, who will probably have something to play for where the Cavs don't. However, the Cavs have shown that even with their bench guys, they've won a lot of games. And the Cavs have also shown they're not big into maintenance days. They're not a team. Not once this year have the Cavs sat multiple guys for maintenance days in the same game. Correct. Not once. Now, maybe they will down the stretch, but I think you don't want to get too crazy with the rest. So I'm going to say, so I give you all that to say, yes, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to lose less games than the Cleveland Browns for the Browns 24-25, both teams, 24-25 season. The Cavs are going to finish 69-13.
Very nice.
They'll fall just shy of the 70 wins. They're going 15-3 the rest of the way, and they will have less losses than the Browns.
No, before you go, we're going to get my producer's hat on. Hey, give me a music bed. I need a music bed.
Can we do that?
Whimsical music bed.
You can do that?
Yeah, I could do that. Like this.
No, I mean, does Steve have the ability to just randomly put up a music bed? I don't know.
We could do that.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is play the real-time schedule game. Since I've got it right here, ready to go. And we're going to go through.
Yes.
And there it is.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Brooklyn Nets.
That's a win.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Where is it?
It is in Memphis. That's a tough
Memphis has not been playing well lately, though, right, Mike?
They have not, no.
That's
correct. You're right. They have not been playing.
That's a dub. We're giving them a win.
I don't know about that.
I'm going win.
Win. Hey, Orlando Magic. That's a win. That's at home.
It's a win.
The LA Clippers on the West Coast.
Oh, that's
It's
the
a
West Coast.
five-game road trip. These next 5
I'm
games.
going to call that a loss.
You gonna give them a loss?
That's a win.
I gave them a win. Sacramento Kings.
That's a win.
Dub. Friday, March 21st, in Phoenix.
Win.
Phoenix needs to win. They
I'm
fight for the
play-in.
No, they'll be fine.
That ain't it?
Dallas don't got Kyrie.
You're not gonna give them that.
They'll be fine.
Donovan Mitchell goes home. No, this is 3:30. This is here Utah Jazz.
Win.
No, it's in Utah. In Utah.
That's a win.
It's
a win.
Got you. Portland Trailblazers.
Win. Even though they play.
I'm going to go win. That would give them if I'm right, that's like a 20-game winning
That's
streak.
win. I'm going to give them
more
a win,
than
too.
that, maybe. Go ahead.
San Diego, San Diego. San Antonio, no Wemby. Win.
It's
Win.
home. That's back home.
Win.
Yeah. Friday, March 28th. Does this get their first L? Detroit Pistons, 7 p.m.
Win.
This would be for 24 straight.
That's for
Can't pick
24.
losses here.
No, y'all on
They're gonna
24.
lose. They're
Y'all
gonna
on
lose one of those
24.
games.
Y'all need to cut it out.
They're going to lose one of those games. There's no way they can win these all.
I got 2 losses.
I don't think they lose that game.
All right, I'm going to go back and say they lose to Phoenix, and then I'm going to pick.
Right now, G has them on a 24-game win
So I
streak.
got one
Here's
loss.
their first loss.
Yeah.
The first loss here is March 30th, 3:30 against the Clippers. I got them losing to the Clippers that game.
You think the
Win.
Clippers
So
are
they-
going to wake up for a 3:30 East Coast
No
game
chance.
They
on the
gonna
back
win
end
now.
of their
That's
West
a
Coast,
win.
East
You
Coast
should have
run?
took the loss back
Well,
when
listen,
I said
okay.
it.
Well, listen. Give me the Clippers loss earlier than that.
Yeah.
All right, so G has now negated his 24-game win
Yeah, we
streak.
both got one loss.
One loss.
Yeah.
I got 2.
This might be an L2. The New York Knicks, April 2nd.
The Knicks
Where is it
are
at?
winless against the 4 best teams in
Where
the
is
NBA.
it at?
That game's here. The last game against the Knicks is on the road.
I'm gonna call that one. I'm gonna call this one a win if it's here.
Win.
All right, we'll give
They'll
them
win
a
the
win.
last one.
San Antonio, win.
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 Sacramento Kings,
Win.
Win.
Chicago Bulls,
Win.
They are playing a really terrible schedule.
I told y'all.
Yeah.
It's a lot of games.
I know it's
and
a lot
not
of road
nights.
games.
Still
a lot
only
of games,
got,
but-
I still only got 2 losses.
Indiana Pacers.
That's a loss. There we go.
So
That one
and it's
at
away.
Indiana.
It's away.
That's their second loss.
Yeah, that's 3.
And then it's a back-to-back against New York.
No, it's not.
They ain't?
Well, Indiana.
April 11th?
Indiana and New York's a back-to-back
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the road.
Yeah, both on the road. Sorry,
Okay.
but it's still back-to-back.
I go win.
I
for the
give them
Knicks.
both losses.
I'm going to go.
Oh, you gave them 2 losses?
I got
And is
4
that it?
losses. I got 4
And then
losses.
they finish at home against the Pacers.
Win.
At home against
They're
New
gonna
York.
lose that game.
They're
again.
going to absolutely tie the record.
There's my 8. There's my 15
They're
and 3.
absolutely going to tie with the
You're
Cleveland
right.
Browns.
You're right. I got them.
They're
I got
going
them.
to get 14 losses exactly.
But we do know this.
Okay.
68
That's
14.
crazy.
24 in a
break the
row
franchise record,
is
right?
possible.
Oh, yeah.
24 in a row is possible by
Franchise
that
record
schedule.
is 66, I believe, Mike.
66, correct.
They are definitely breaking.
Oh, yeah, they're going to break
definitely
that.
too strong, most likely.
I got
To break that,
68-14.
They got to go. What's their record right now? I forgot.
54 and 10.
So all they got to do is go 13-5 to break the franchise record. I mean,
easy money.
I'd be stunned if that doesn't happen.
Easy money. And if that 24-game winning streak is possible because,
it's a lot of road games, but their only good teams they're playing are the one with Memphis and then the four that they got with the Knicks and Pacers, right? Who else is good? The Clippers are all right.
Clippers are good. They're all right. Sacramento's been playing better lately.
Yeah.
My 4 losses was
Phoenix has not been playing well.
The Clippers.
And they got to go to Detroit.
Pacers.
I
said Memphis, Clippers, Pacers, and Knicks. That's my
the 4. Knicks, Mike, I think their record is like 0-12 against the 4 best teams
They
in
have
the
yet
league.
to beat one of the better teams.
Right, they haven't beat the Cavs, the Celtics,
Thunder,
and Denver, is it?
But the Cavs,
who's in second in the West?
I think it was
now?
Denver.
The Cavs also,
or the Lakers second in the West.
The
now.
Cavs also have not played Mitchell Robinson, correct?
So here's to you, Mitchell Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. I think I screwed up the lyrics.
Whoa.
I'm glad that brought that to you. I'm glad.
Now,
Denver's in second now, by the way.
Here's why it's very possible that he win 24 in a row, because I kept thinking about why are they so good, and then
it's because they got so many scores.
Even if, say for instance, you're counting on, so say you're looking at the Cavs and you want to find out the recipe or the elixir to beat the Cavs. So you're like, okay, we don't want Donovan Mitchell to get off, okay?
Yeah.
But then you still got Garland, who probably can, if you stop him, that means Garland shoot a lot. And then you say, well, what if we just shut down their guards? Well, if you shut down their guards, I mean, are you going to count on that Mobley and Allen are not going to play well? Or if you say, listen, we want to limit Mobley off the boards, Jared Allen can still get 12 rebounds. And then the thing that really messes everything up is, like, Hunter is like a star, like he's a starter. Like
that's the interesting thing. I think Hunter, and we're probably a little prisoner of the moment because all the Cavs have done is win every game since he's been here. But, Mike, I feel like he's made a much bigger impact than we thought he would. And he feels like I know statistically he's not, but it feels like he's playing at an all-star level, doesn't it?
It feels like he don't ever miss.
No,
he had his first bad game against Milwaukee.
Right.
He didn't make it 3. How crazy good he's been?
Yeah.
Didn't make it 3 against Milwaukee at his first bad shooting game. He's now shooting 50% from 3.
Yeah,
for the Cavs.
he's been
he's dropped
good.
from 60 to 50%. And the ability for them to mix and match at the end of games. Putting him at the 4 with Mobley at the 5, the extra spacing that provides, and his ability to be the 2-3 zone breaker from the high post, and not only score but facilitate from that spot, has been a game changer for the Cavs, especially when they've been struggling in the fourth. He's been one of the guys that bailed them out. Go back to that Portland game. Back-to-back threes in the fourth quarter from each wing. This Miami game, from the high post, scored 2 big buckets late. He's been really, really, really clutch for them. And despite the fact that they've won 14 in a row, we've talked about them not playing their best in those games. They don't win 2 or 3 of those without DeAndre Hunter doing what you see right here on the screen.
You know, Mike, you were all for Cam Johnson at the trade deadline. Do you think now, in hindsight, obviously, you think that if they would have traded for Cam Johnson, they still would have this same stuff? Or do you think Hunter is absolutely the home run and he was obviously the best option?
I mean, they've been perfect with him, so it's hard to argue against anything. I don't think, even though I thought my argument and logic was sound in the lead up to it, I don't think there's any way you could ask for better results than they've gotten so far. So,
and here's the thing, Mike.
Well, I don't think Johnson can play like that. If they he can't be at the 4 or the 5, right?
He can play the 4.
Yeah, not the
he's
5.
Not the defense. He's not the defense.
They're not putting Jared Allen on the bench at the end of the game for him.
No,
right?
No, but he played for Max Strus in that situation.
But in a vacuum, Cam Johnson, let's say he's a better player than DeAndre Hunter, right? Like he's.
I think they're right in the same plane. Yeah.
But on this team, and first of all, we don't know about Cam Johnson's makeup. He might be great. DeAndre Hunter clearly fit in really well, and part of that is his relationship. His relationship with Ty Jerome is a bigger part than maybe we thought.
And I didn't know he was tight with Mobley too.
Right, and with Mobley.
And I had no idea of that facet of it. He's come in seamlessly into this locker room.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I'm like G. Bush now. I watch all these random videos. And
is that a good or a bad thing before you
No, that's good. I have fun. Most of the time it's good. Once I start
a rabbit hole.
Once I start watching the politics, then I got to get the hell out. But when it's fun stuff, it's good. And I was watching 2 videos that are involved in like kind of what we said here. Number one, I was watching, what's his name? There's two brothers, Richie and I can't remember the other brother's name, Palacios. They're both major league players. They're both like kind of fringe major league players. One of them used to be on the Guardians. But I can't remember now which one's on the Pirates. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. But anyway, he was doing this thing for the Pirates social media where he was opening packs of baseball cards. And I just thought it was interesting because I wanted to hear like a major leaguer talk about other players. I thought that'd be interesting. And it was fascinating. And first of all, this is a guy who's like kind of a journeyman, hasn't been in the big leagues that long, spent a lot of time in the minors. You wouldn't think like this guy of all guys has a ton of connections around the majors. Like a veteran.
Josh Palacios.
Okay, you're right, Josh Palacios. And he's opening these cards, and at almost every player he opened, he's like, I played with this guy in the minors. I went to, he opens Bo Bichette. I'm like, what could his connection?
Right.
Oh, Bo Bichette's dad was, he played in the majors. He was awesome. He invited me to his house, and he taught me this. And I just thought that was so cool, all these connections. Because when players get traded or signed, like there's the obvious connections that we know about because they played for the same team or they had the same coach. But as you know, Tyvis, better than all of us, and gee, to some degree you do too, playing high-level college football, you never know where guys make connections in sports.
Yeah.
And it's such a fraternity that there may be these friendships and these connections like Evan Mobley and DeAndre Hunter that we wouldn't know.
I mean, it's funny you say that because, like, when I would get cut from a team and then I would sign with another team, the first thing I would do is be like, who do I know?
Exactly.
Who do I know on this team? How do I know this person? Oh, I played with him at the Senior Bowl, or we was at the Combine together, or like I played with him in college, or it's like it's.
And you probably texted these guys.
Yeah,
hey,
I'm on the way.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like we was talking about this show earlier before that we started. We sit down, like there's other shows and different spinoffs that people think about like doing kind of the same thing that we're doing, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But it's hard because, like, say for instance. Our show is a rotating panel of people talking about non-scripted things.
Right.
So it's like you really have to like vibe with people. Like you have to be comfortable enough to give each other a bunch of crap. You got to be self-deprecating where you don't take anything personally. It gets heated sometimes, but the mix of people is what really makes it crazy. Because even with Max Strus, I know I give Max Strus a hard time, so a lot of times it's tongue in cheek, most of it. But
his teammates love him.
But it's like Max Strus had 17 the other day, right? They're like, listen, you just go out here and just run around. I need you to run around at the top level run around guy. And Sam Merrill, hey, we need to come off and have no conscience.
Yeah.
And you're like. Sam Merrill, a G League player, and he pulls up when he wants.
I swear, it's unbelievable.
It is.
Sam Merrill get that ball and it's no thought, like
at all.
Unconscious. He's gonna play like, because we got an injury update for tonight's game. Real quick.
Yeah.
Chris Fedor just tweeted this out. Ty Jerome out tonight. Rest. Donovan Mitchell questionable. Groin soreness. And DeAndre Hunter illness questionable. So the Cavs, in pursuit of history, if they score 110 points tonight and beat the Nets, they'd be the first team in the history of the NBA to have a 15-game win streak where they scored at least 110 in all 15 games. Tonight they'll have to do it without Ty Jerome. And Mitchell and Hunter both questionable with legitimate
I literally just
issues.
said they don't sit guys. And it sounds legit. Now listen, Hunter's sick. That doesn't sound like a big deal. Ty Jerome is just getting rest. Fine.
Ty Jerome told him, if I'm not playing, Hunter's not playing.
I don't love it. I'm sure I'm guessing it's minor, but I don't love any idea of Donovan having a groin.
Well, if they're going to put it out there and list them as questionable,
Yeah.
I'm going to guess they're going to play it cautious tonight.
Which they 100%
Which they should. Yes, 1,000,000%.
By the way,
the Nets coming off of a back-to-back and they just beat the Lakers. So
predict the
Cam Johnson was awesome in the fourth quarter last night.
Predict the starting lineup tonight, then.
Darius.
It'll be Darius,
Max,
Evan.
Isaac, and the two bigs.
Yeah, right.
No D Wade?
No,
they'll start Isaac next to.
By the way,
Max.
to G's point about like our panel and show, even though I'm not going to name any names, but even though it's good when we have guests in studio, it does change the vibe a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if it's not a guest we feel comfortable
because
being silly with.
Because I can't really just be like, hey man, what are you wearing today?
you can't be yourself.
Listen, you know what the most difficult, I always say, somebody asked me a question. They're like, what is the most difficult time that you have, like if you have somebody in studio? And I said, listen, if you get beautiful people in the studio, it messes you up. Like you just like the whole time you're just sitting here thinking like, don't mess up, don't screw it up, don't say nothing dumb, don't say nothing stupid. That is actually a trait. That is a skill trait. Like if we was doing Miss America, we couldn't do that. We'd be horrible.
Who is we?
We would be terrible.
No, we would not.
The chemistry, not bad or good, but the chemistry does change.
Yeah,
I agree. That's a fact.
And when I'm coming in every day, I like to know who's in with me because I'm like, oh, it's different chemistry, different vibes with different guys.
He needs to know if he needs to argue or not.
I don't feel like that.
We gotta know which hat he's got to bring. We got one last topic though. Bull and I actually started getting an argument on this yesterday in the chat, real quick, and we're gonna get to it now. But first, a reminder that our comedy show, less than 3 weeks away, March 28th at Hilarities. Tickets are available online. Hilarities actually called me about an hour ago, mid-show, saying we got to talk about how many tickets you guys have sold. So shout out to the people for buying them in bulk. I got to call the guy back.
Oh, yeah, a lot of tickets sold already?
That's what he texted me and said, we sent a lot of tickets.
Is Jay Crawford not going to be at this event?
He will.
Can we clarify if we are supposed to buy tickets?
I will ask him today. I will ask this
I'm
guy
sure
today.
for our families we should, but for us, like, are we supposed to buy tickets?
I will call him this afternoon.
Okay.
But if you haven't got your ticket yet, come hang out with us March 28th at Hilarities, 9:30 p.m. Let's talk about some of the other free agency
What did we
moves
argue about? I don't remember
around the NFL. One that stood out to me, Steven, take tag board full here, was the Titans giving Dan Moore a massive contract. They gave him a 4-year deal, $50 million guaranteed.
Well, first of all, I said he was going to get a lot of money, I was right.
And I read an article, and apparently he's been good against almost everyone in the NFL except Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett kills him.
He's the worst tackle in football when he plays Myles Garrett. Yeah. He's competent against everyone else.
Yeah.
The Titans also weren't reportedly interested, according to reports, on any of the other big-name quarterbacks, which to me signals Cam Ward's going to be their pick at number 1. They're not going to trade that pick. Bull, you said you don't look at those moves that way.
No.
So let's start with that, then talk about some of the other moves around the NFL.
Yeah, I just don't buy that. First of all, there's no big – you said any of the big free agent quarterbacks. There are no big free agent quarterbacks. There was no quarterback available, veteran quarterback, that makes you a winner. That certainly was going to make the Tennessee Titans a winner. So I'm not saying they're not going to draft Cam Ward. I thought all along he would go – well, not all along, but I've thought for the last bunch of weeks – I've said for the last 3-4 weeks he's going number 1, whether they take him or not. And they probably should take him. But I don't think just sign – like, they needed a left tackle.
They drafted a left tackle in the first round last year in the top 7.
They obviously didn't think he was good enough.
Well, they're moving him to right tackle, according to reports now. They're going to
because he wasn't good enough at left tackle.
Well, then they're moving the right tackle they drafted 2 years ago to inside guard. Yeah. So they have a whole reshuffling on the offensive line.
The point is there's plenty of other teams that signed offensive linemen in the last couple of days, yesterday especially, that aren't drafting quarterbacks. Like I don't think one necessarily points to the other. I don't think it's that. Like if they were going to draft, let's say the Titans planning to trade down with the Giants and then take Travis Hunter at 3. To me, that doesn't affect whether they sign Dan Moore to the big contract or not. I don't buy that.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy for this? Like if I was with the Raiders. Or if I was with the Seahawks, I would not be excited about
Geno and Sam Darnold.
I would just sit there and be like, but for what though? Like it's like, okay, this not gonna mean nothing.
No, but the Browns are in the same boat unless they get a rookie.
But that's what I'm saying. I would rather.
What do you mean it's not gonna mean that?
I would rather take a rookie and hope that they're better than Geno Smith or Sam Darnold.
They signed him to an extension.
I know.
How many years Geno get?
Why?
How many years?
Didn't it 3? It was like the same.
But here's the thing:
the Sam Darnold deal was what they offered Geno, but Raiders paid more.
Here's the thing: if you're the Raiders or the Seahawks, the Seahawks, they were not getting they're drafting later in the first round anyway.
Right.
The Raiders have 3 quarterback needy teams ahead of them in the draft, so they're like,
so we can get one.
Even if they like Cam Ward and think he's great, they're like, well, we're not going to get him.
They could have traded.
They could have tried, but maybe Tennessee is going to take him, and ultimately they're not going to trade it, and then nobody has an option. But maybe they are going to still draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, even though they signed Geno. Like we were all shocked when the Falcons took Michael Penix last year after picking up Kirk Cousins, and turned out to be a smart move.
We looked at Sam Darnold. I would have thought that general managers would have been smarter than this. They would have been like, look, he's playing with Justin Jefferson and Addison. They running a lot of smoke and mirrors. They doing
Jackson Smith and Jig made that deal.
He's the man now.
I mean, he's
the only man.
And then they got rid of DK Metcalf. Like, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I'm like, this man. This what 8 wins?
They want to run the ball anyway.
8.
Listen, Sam Darnold had a hell of a season. I get it. He fell apart at the end of the year, and I'm not a believer. But the kind of season he had, I think there's a chance he can be a winning quarterback.
He got $100 million.
Did Seattle make the playoffs last year?
Seattle did not. No,
they fell apart at the end of the year. Didn't they?
They were close, but they did not make the playoffs.
At least he can make it. He can get you to the playoffs.
Right, but
that's a stepping stone.
You lost Tyler Lockett also. They let him walk. I know he was getting old, but you got a great running back. You got actually 2 really nice running backs there.
Charbonnet and Ken Walker.
Yeah, they're both really talented.
I mean, that's what you was going to lean on anyway.
So you're going to use them in the past, and you got JSN, and that's about it. I don't know what else they have skill
Noah
position-wise.
Fant, the tight end. Yeah. I played with Noah. Shout out to Noah.
He's everybody's waiver tight end.
Yeah. He was supposed to be.
He was a first-round pick, I think.
He was supposed to be good coming out of college.
Because he came from Iowa, so you thought.
But he's just been. He's not even he's the.
I got the
14th best tight end.
I got to guard him in practice in Denver. He's solid.
Yeah. I just look. I am the one to talk. I mean, we ain't got nothing.
Nothing, right?
We got Kenny Pickett. Somebody gonna be watching this. This dude is delusional.
Yeah.
He talking about all these other quarterbacks. They have nothing.
Charles Davis is talking about not drafting a quarterback potentially if they go after Kirk Cousins, which I hadn't even thought about that possibility.
That scared me.
The Browns better not do that.
It scared me.
You said it best. They cannot let Kirk Cousins prohibit them from drafting a quarterback.
I mean, that the way he presented it, though, we used to bad stuff happen. I said I could see an alternate universe.
Did Kirk Cousins get hurt last year?
No, he tore his Achilles 2 years ago.
No. I'm saying
old.
He got
his
benched.
shoulder.
Charles was he was 4-2 at a point in time.
He was playing decent,
and he did have that 5. I remember the
500 yard
was ridiculous.
He wasn't playing. I think Charles, in my opinion, was overstating how well he played early in the year, but he was playing okay.
He had that crazy game against Tampa,
and he had the huge game against Tampa, and then he fell off a cliff.
That was it.
I mean, he was horrendous. What did he go no touchdowns, 10 picks or something in his last 3 games?
And if you watch and listen,
he looked horrible.
There's a chance we're going to talk ourselves into Kirk Cousins.
Who
is
we? Well, Tyvis is not.
We as people that support the Browns are going to have to admit the fact that
he may be here. I'm not talking myself into him being able to be a real winner for them.
No, me either.
But I got to see it.
A couple other moves real quick I want to mention. Milton Williams, $26 million a year. Headed to the New England Patriots. He was the best defensive player in the Super Bowl.
You know what?
An overpay for a guy or worth it?
All these guys.
The Patriots and the
Commanders. The Eagles are the new Patriots. If the Eagles and the Chiefs.
The
Eagles and Chiefs let you walk, I'm like, for the most part, that's all right. They're like, he's not that important. Because the Eagles pay everybody that's important.
So this is what y'all don't.
Maybe it's finally catching up to.
No. What you don't understand about these dudes is the Eagles got 75 D tackles.
That's right.
They draft 4 D tackles from Georgia every year. They're just up there. They get 3 edge rushers.
And they all look better because they're playing together.
Because they're playing together.
So he'll probably be fine, but he won't be worth the money. That's my guess.
This man had 11 solo tackles in 2024. 5 sacks. He had 24 total tackles.
Mike, what did he? I know he had a good Super Bowl, but
24 total.
What did he do to get that money?
Milton Williams, this most recent season.
Yeah.
Most known for what he did in the Super Bowl, granted, but during the regular season.
G just gave his stats. They were nothing.
Okay, good. I was talking to someone else. He had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
7 tackles for loss. A pass defended.
Did he have good?
He had 11 solos.
Grades
sound like Dalvin Tomlinson to me.
I mean, I don't understand that. Who did that? Who signed
Patriots.
him?
He was the
everybody went nuts. The Patriots rebuilt their defense.
No, he had the second highest pass rush grade of any defensive tackle in football last year. 91.
Still ain't got no weapons.
I'm sure he's going to contribute to winning.
Still ain't got nobody.
I
mean,
listen.
To me, that's
listen. Unless you are Warren Sapp, Richard Seymour,
Aaron
Donald.
Yeah.
it's tough for me to be breaking no bank at $26 million a year.
So last move then I want to talk about the Tunsil deal. We talked a little bit about Charles Davis.
Yeah.
Were the Commanders the big winners yesterday, acquiring a left tackle of that caliber for their superstar young quarterback?
See, the Commanders are smart. Most of the other teams that went crazy yesterday are bad teams.
Yeah.
So, like the Bears signed like 6 guys. Everybody goes nuts. Oh, the Bears improved here, improved. They said the same thing when the Bears spent in free agency last year. Mm-hmm. Washington's smart because Washington is clearly on the verge.
Didn't they get?
They were in the NFC Championship game.
Did they get a pass rusher?
They signed. I can't remember now if Washington added a pass rusher, but
According to ESPN,
they signed defensive linemen. I'm pretty sure
because they let Jonathan Allen walk.
Yep.
Jonathan Allen left. Cornelius Lucas left. They lost Jeremy Chin. They traded for Jeremy Tunsil. They lost Dynami Brown. They signed Javon Kinlaw.
And they traded for Debo.
And Debo.
And they made another trade for a veteran corner. Didn't they get Marshawn Lattimore?
I think he's a free agent.
I forgot they got him.
They got Debo.
Debo got to lose like 15 pounds.
He does, but he's not asked,
And what?
20.
You
right.
He got fat.
He had to do that.
His lower body out of control.
He had to do that because he was going to play running back because CMC got hurt.
Lattimore still under contract. No, apologies. He's still under contract.
With who?
Washington.
With Washington.
Yeah, they traded for him.
Yeah, I thought it was an expiring deal.
Now listen.
They traded for him in the last month.
Listen, Marshawn got to stay healthy.
I'm pretty sure, no.
Marshawn
it was a trade deadline deal, yeah.
Marshawn got to stay healthy and finish and play back to where he was at.
Yeah.
Debo got to lose some weight.
Yeah.
And
but what did they give up for Debo? Nothing.
A 5th-round pick.
So who cares?
But that's a trade between two friends. Adam Peters was with John Lynch. Adam Peters, I know Adam Peters. I know Adam Peters like the back of my head because he hired and fired me like 6 times.
Did it smart. That's what you got to do. When you're a bad team going nuts in free agency, you're stupid. What you got?
Jesus, crazy.
Debo Samuel, y'all think my outfits is outrageous. Debo Samuel's outfits is too outrageous. Look at that.
He's wearing shorts?
Them is cut off biker shorts, but the
with
slit
a leather
inside.
Jacket. It looks weird.
Yeah, this is Debo Samuel.
I'm no fashion guy.
Yeah, this ain't it, man.
That's nasty work.
That's nasty work, and you need to lose 20 pounds, man. Don't do that to yourself, bro.
Yeah. All right, Mike, we got any super chats?
We do have super chats. Let's get to them. Kevin Robinson, first up, says,
So here's to you, Kevin Robinson. Go ahead.
Nailed it. He says DTR is a shotgun quarterback. Kenny Pickett is an under center quarterback.
DTR is a USFL quarterback.
Nobody's has a problem with
UFL.
Brody's bottom line
says
2 things. First one is simply Harold Fannin.
Oh, that's
the second one.
Is that the tight end from Bowling Green?
Okay.
That is the tight end from Bowling Green.
We need to go back to 12 personnel. I know people don't want to hear that.
You mean he's the tight end from Kenton McKinley?
I bet they do.
We need to go back to 12 personnel.
They need a fullback, too.
If they get that.
Juszczyk is available.
They get
Bring him
that.
back.
They draft that tight end from Bowling Green. We going back to 12 personnel.
Hey, man, I'm all down for it.
He's little, though, as a tight end. He's not a big tight end, but he can still do it. He's a really good player. Brody also said, would you trade for Kenneth Walker?
The running back?
I'm not trading for no backs.
Yeah, I'm not really
It's 96 backs in this draft.
I don't think Seattle's going to trade him.
Because Ken Walker got injury problems, too. You get hurt almost every year.
Right. I think Seattle likes their backfield, and they're going to become more run-centric.
I'm about to say they're going to run the ball a lot this year.
Seattle was like, we're going to make the conscious effort to be mid-sauce. That's exactly what we're going to do. Run!
They are going to be mid-sauce, yeah.
All right, our Mac Dog says, I expect the Browns to take the best player available with the 2nd pick and use the 33rd pick, Newsome and Jedrick Wills, to trade back into the 1st for a top running back.
He said Newsome and who?
Jed Wills.
He on free agent.
Jed Wills is a free agent. Newsome has no trade value. Come on, our Mac Dog. We love you, man, but come on.
They're going to take the 33rd pick.
I can imagine my man being up with some loose leaf paper writing these trades down. I got one. I got you one. I know you are, McDonald.
That's on his draft board. That's on his big board.
Your big board. He said,
imagine going to the whoever's picking 20th.
That ain't enough.
He said,
who's picking 20th?
What you got?
Steelers are 21. Just do the Steelers.
So right before the Steelers. No, I don't want to be. Say, listen.
We're gonna give you the 33rd pick
Colts.
and Genu.
We're gonna give you pick 33 to get up to 20, and here's what we're gonna throw in: Jed Wills, who's a free agent.
It's Denver. Denver's 20.
Denver. You don't need that 20th pick. Move down 13 spots. We'll give you Jed Wills the rights to talk to him as a free agent. And we're going to throw in Greg Newsome, a mediocre corner who's a free agent at the end of the season. What do you say, Broncos?
I say next super chat. DB Dog 21 says, heard Nick Chubb has to hit free agency to get a certain kind of contract. With Chubb, it's a 4-year qualifying contract.
What is this?
What? Say that one more time.
He sent 2 back-to-back. The first one says,
what?
Heard Chubb has to hit free agency to get a certain contract. End of super chat. The next super chat, with Chubb, it's the 4-year qualifying offer.
What?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I've never heard of these.
He misunderstood something somebody said. I don't know what kind. Nick Chubb is a veteran. There's no restrictions here. There's no franchise tag. There's no restrictions on Nick Chubb's free agency.
We have 2 more. Next one is from Brendan G, who says, no one is talking about Nick Chubb getting picked up. Does that mean he's coming back?
No, I think everybody.
I don't think it means that. It's the first. Not every player signs the first day.
Like sometimes it'd be all the way in the summer. You'd be like, so and so signed a free agent deal. You're like, dang, I thought the free agency was over.
Nick Chubb's older for a running back and coming off series, 2 surgeries, multiple surgeries. He's not a hot commodity at the start of free agency.
He had to get surgery for his foot.
Mr. 216 says, would you trade number 33 to the Jets for Garrett Wilson?
Of course.
Absolutely, but they wouldn't.
Of course. Why would they? Well, why would they do that?
Yeah, they wouldn't do that, but heck yeah. Sign me up. If you can fleece them for that,
pay
absolutely. I'd pay him good money.
The Jets are not trading him. They're not going to do that on a young player.
They just got rid of Adams. They won't trade Wilson too, right?
No, it was smart to get rid of Adams.
No, I agree, but you don't get rid of your only 2 good receivers if you don't really have a quarterback.
The Jets are never rebuilding. They want to win.
Yeah,
I don't know that they're going to win with Justin Fields, but they're going to want to win.
And Justin Fields.
All right, we got overtime coming up. We'll talk to you then.
We'll see you then.
Peace. That's crazy. Like,